May 20, 2024, Jiangzhou City. A new spatial rift has appeared. Monsters emerged from the rift. In response, the 3rd Division was ordered to attack them. Among the monsters was a 6-eared wolf king with a gold level. The monster stated that these people were still stubbornly resisting, but destroying them was only a matter of time. One of the hunters noted that if the monster had a gold level, then the rift must be much higher in rank. The 6-eared wolf king replied that it was too late to think about that now. One of the hunters said that he would take care of this monster himself, while the others should destroy the others. The hunters rejoiced. Mr. Wen Yuan had appeared, so now they would not perish. The female hunter reported to the leadership that with the help of Lord Wen Yuan, they had successfully defeated the clan of 6-eared wolves that had attacked them. The leader praised them for their excellent work. The chief noted with regret that this was yet another new level C rift. It was already the 6th in the last decade. At this rate, it would become impossible to defend Jiangzhou. The man added that the academy would no longer be able to cope with this on its own. Starting this year, martial arts university students would be exempt from cultural exams, and the passing score for masters would be halved. Classes at the school were over. One student asked another if he had been daydreaming again during class. It would be a shame if he couldn't get into the martial arts university because of his low grades in cultural subjects. The young man said dreamily that he would like to sit next to the beautiful Yanzhan. Why did Subai deserve all this? Lin Yanzhan said that they would soon be graduating. Was Subai going to apply to the academy or the martial arts university? Subai's student replied that he didn't know. He had no idea. Go to the academy? His grades were average. What use were foreign languages or advanced mathematics nowadays? Go to university? His family was not wealthy. They couldn't afford such a luxury. Besides, he had no special talents. What should he choose? Subai thought he had fallen into another world. Shouldn't he have some kind of supernatural talent or ability, such as awakening the system? He began to doubt whether he had really been transported here. Lin Yanzhan suggested that the young man go with her to the academy. She had a way to help him get there directly. Subai was surprised. What kind of method was that? Lin Yanzhan asked him to keep quiet and not attract attention. The girl displayed a large table in front of him and said that it was her own system. Yanzhan asked what was wrong with Subai. Why was he sweating so much? Was he okay? Subai assumed that no one else could see it. The other students were outraged. Subai should immediately take his hands off their goddess. Wasn't it enough that he was sitting next to her? Subai needed to be taught a lesson. The teacher entered the classroom and told everyone to calm down. She announced some good news. Jiangzhou Martial Arts University had just published an important announcement on its website. Starting this year, all students could be exempt from cultural exams and apply directly to the martial arts university. The class erupted in noise as the students expressed their obvious joy. Cultural courses had been cut in half. Now they were definitely going to apply to the martial arts university. It would be nice to become superhuman as well. The teacher said that if the students already had awakened abilities or knowledge of martial arts, they should come to her office to register. Subai thought this was interesting. He had just awakened his abilities and could now enroll in the martial arts university without taking any exams. Lin Yanzhan wondered, was he really going to go there? The protagonist's name is Subai, and he has been in this world for some time. September 18th, 1906. The sky suddenly split open, revealing huge spatial rifts. Monsters began to emerge from the rifts, and soon they began to destroy everything around them. The armies of all countries engaged in battle with these creatures, and after 3 months, were able to destroy those that had escaped from the rifts. However, as long as the rifts remained open, new waves of beasts continued to appear. Therefore, humanity decided to send mercenary squads to explore the rifts. What the mercenaries discovered on the other side turned out to be a vast, endless land. To prevent an endless stream of monsters, the armies of different countries united and decided to build military bases inside the rifts. From there, they were able to contain the beasts at their source. A new era of humanity began. On March 6, 1907, a second rift appeared in the sky. Then a third, a fourth. Over the next century, the number of rifts and the frequency of their appearance grew steadily. Now they have spread all over the world. Each rift was connected to a different race of monsters. Scientists called the battlefield behind the rifts the battlefield of myriad races. At the same time, the spiritual energy of the earth began to recover, and people gradually awakened their combat abilities. As the battles progressed, conventional firearms became useless. while people grew stronger and stronger. As a result, superpowers replaced firearms as the primary force. The war between humans and the myriad races continues to this day. From the reforms at Zhangzhou Martial Arts University, it is clear that the situation is becoming increasingly dangerous. Subai decided that if he had the system, he had to protect his family in this crazy world. The fastest way to become stronger was to enroll in a martial arts university supported by the army. Fortunately, the protagonist now has the ability to tame beasts. He only needs one tamed monster to enter the university without exams. The first step is to go there. Subai calculated that the more than 2,000 coins he had saved up should be enough. The system said it would automatically find a suitable beast. But why was there still no response? The young man was greeted warmly and asked how he could be helped. Subai announced that he was a monster tamer and asked what creatures were available. The girl pointed to a black cat. It was expensive for an ordinary monster, but it had the blood of a dark cat and could easily evolve to the silver level. Subai thought the price was too high. Next, the young man was introduced to a 4-eared dog, descended from a 6-eared wolf. Again, the price was prohibitive. The manager asked which monster the young man liked best. However, the young man was nowhere to be found. Subai left the establishment, thinking that they were trying to cheat him. Why was everything so expensive? Was it just because these animals had a drop of monster blood? What had happened to his system? None of the monsters were suitable. Subai returned home. There was a small aquarium in the room. He noticed that the system was finally responding to something. Could it be the little turtle? Subai thought his system was broken. Could his first tamed beast really be a turtle? But it's so tiny. What can it even do? The hero understood that he couldn't go to the battlefield yet to tame a stronger beast. Later, he would have to find someone better. The turtle suddenly grew, increasing in size right before his eyes. Subai was delighted. Now that was something else. The blood of a black turtle. How much was it worth? Now he didn't want to part with it. Su Xiaomei's sister entered the room and asked menacingly what her brother was going to do with Xiaoba. After all, it was their father's treasure. Subai said he hadn't done anything to the turtle. At that moment, the little turtle crawled into the grocery bag. The brother and sister looked into the bag and were surprised. Why was this turtle eating so much? Xiaomei said that their father had already fed it in the morning. The protagonist suggested that Xiaoba's appetite had increased significantly. Was he about to evolve? In that case, they would need to get more food. Half an hour later, the young people's parents entered the room. Their faces reflected extreme surprise. Had the house been robbed? The parents saw a large turtle. Could it be Xiaoba? Xiaomei tried to run away with a bag of groceries from the turtle chasing her. The woman was surprised. Could turtles really run that fast? Subai said he would try to explain everything now. The kitchen was indeed in shambles. Subai thought that his parents were already having a hard time. It would be better not to tell them that Xiaoba was a bottomless pit. He had to come up with something else. Xiaomei expressed extreme dissatisfaction with what was happening, while the turtle, Xiaoba, was completely satisfied after a hearty meal. Subai assumed that the little turtle was finally full. At that moment, a huge energy beast appeared above Xiaoba. Xiaoba's flashed shadow disappeared in an instant. His lineage had not yet awakened, but he began to eat much more. In this regard, Subai decided to ask for help. The manager greeted Subai and asked if the young man had decided who he would take. The protagonist replied that he had not come to make a purchase this time. The young man announced that he had a pet with the blood of an unusual beast flowing through its veins. An administration representative overheard the conversation and decided that it was worth looking into the matter. The man told the manager that she could leave. The manager asked if the young man would like to take a walk and talk. He had heard that the young man's pet had the blood of an unusual animal. Could he take a look? The man thought that this guy was not lying. The animal's blood was indeed of the highest quality. He asked how much the young man wanted for it. Subai thought that he had to work hard to extract the blood from Xiaoba. It must be worth at least 100 coins. The man offered 1,000 coins. Seeing the young man's reaction, he said it was a joke. With such quality, it was unthinkable to ask for such a low price. Of course, he was mistaken and offered 10,000. The protagonist's eyes lit up. 10,000? The shopkeeper misunderstood the young man's reaction and said he couldn't offer more than 15,000. Subai had no idea that Xiaoba's blood could be so expensive. The hero struggled to hold back a smile and agreed. The shopkeeper wished the young man good luck and added that if he found anything interesting, he could feel free to contact him. Subai realized that the blood of exotic animals was a valuable substance. It turned out that this turtle was not ordinary at all. The phone rang. It was Teacher Lee. He said that the academic lists had been published and that there was important news. Subai had to come to school to fill out an application. He shouldn't be late. The young man tried to find out what the important news was, but the connection was lost. He was in a narrow alley. The protagonist received a message from the system. 3 people nearby were particularly aggressive towards the owner. They were no more than 10 meters away. Subai realized that these hooligans were already very close. And indeed, it was true. The gang leader said that judging by the shop owner's behavior, the young man had something valuable hidden away. They needed to search him. Subai said he just wanted to sell some things. He assessed his opponents and realized that only one of them was a fighter. That wasn't so scary. The bandit laughed and said that the guy was clearly afraid of them. Then Subai took out the turtle. Xiaoba hid in the shell. Subai swung and threw the turtle right at the gang leader's head. The turtle hit the bald man's head and flew to the side. The bandit thought it was very painful. Subai continued to fight back and kicked his opponent in his most vulnerable spot. The pain was unbearable. The other 2 bullies shouted that this young man was clearly asking for trouble. How dare he touch their boss? Subai ran away and asked the turtle how it was feeling. Xiaoba replied that it felt nothing. Subai noted that the turtle really did have incredible protection. Xiaoba wrapped his paws around the young man's fist, and Subai struck the bullies who were chasing him with the turtle. The villains were neutralized. The bald leader of the gang raised his head and shouted angrily that he would now destroy this boy. Subai told Xiaoba to hide his head and swung again. The turtle hit its target, and the bald gangster flew far backward. The villain fell on his back and screamed loudly, writhing in pain. Subai approached the thugs lying on the ground and said that they had brought trouble upon themselves. The young man looked at the turtle and wondered what it was eating. Xiaoba, ignoring what was happening, continued to drink the liquid. Subai shouted at the turtle to spit it out immediately. He snatched the bottle from the turtle's paws and realized that it was a potion of qi and blood. Such a bottle costs tens of thousands. Subai was angry at the turtle. It takes a warrior a month to absorb this potion. Could Xiaoba have digested it all? The next moment, the protagonist felt his strength growing. What was happening? It was an incredibly powerful potion. The hero's characteristics increased dramatically, and he gained a new talent. In addition, Xiaoba had noticeably increased in size. Subai remembered what they had been taught in class. Exotic beasts with power rarely reach 30 units. Xiaoba was already extremely powerful, even without activation. The hero told the turtle that it was time to leave. The academic results had been published. Now it was time to submit applications. In addition, there was another important announcement. The teacher announced that tomorrow, a representative of the Military University Admissions Committee would come to the school to test the applicants. This year, there are 2 guaranteed places. Lin Yanzhan asked if Subai had finally decided where he would apply. Was it still the military university? The answer was affirmative. Yanzhan said that the young man could enroll with her. After all, the military university sends students to the battlefield. Subai must understand how dangerous it is. Subai replied that someone had to go to the front lines anyway. He would go to fight to protect the people close to him. Yanzhan wondered, could she be that close person? A young man approached the girl and asked where Lin Yanzhan was going to enroll. Subai thought that perhaps, since she had not trained, the choice of university was obvious. Yanzhan replied that she hadn't decided yet. She needed to think about it. Teacher Lee reminded them that this was a very important decision. Everyone needed to take their report cards and discuss everything with their parents at home. Tomorrow they would have to submit their applications. The girl sank into a hot bath and called Subai on the phone. Lin Yanzhan said that she would also enroll in a military university and added that she had a surprise for the young man. Subai was surprised. Was Yanzhan serious? The girl said she had thought it through long ago. Subai said he had important things to do and they would talk later. At that moment, Xiaoba climbed back into the grocery bag. The protagonist said that Xiaoba was nothing but trouble. He was always eating and going to the bathroom. The young man added that he couldn't even imagine how awful it smelled after he went to the bathroom. Teacher Lee addressed the distinguished applicants from the podium and said that she wanted to introduce instructor Zhang Kai from the military university. Zhang Kai was a senior and also graduated from high school number 1. The instructor stated that a year ago, 126 students from the first school were admitted to the university, but only 65 of them survived. 2 years ago, 98 were admitted, and 32 survived. 3 years ago, 86 applicants became students, and only 11 of them are still alive. Zhang Kai added that he did not want to intimidate anyone, but he reminded them that admission to a military university was not just about getting a certificate. Applicants face dangers, difficult decisions, and the sacred duty to defend their country. The military university trains those who are strong in spirit and ready to become even stronger. Everyone liked the instructor's words, and the hall erupted in applause. After that, it was decided to begin assessing the abilities of the young people. Instructor Zhang Kai approached one of the applicants and asked if his name was Subai. The young man confirmed this. The instructor announced that the young man had been selected for direct admission to the military university and should prepare for the entrance exams. Subai was surprised. Was this really true? Zhang Kai added that a bus was already waiting for him at the school gate to take him to the university. The applicants looked at each other. Why had he received a direct invitation? Did he have some influential connections? Envy flashed in their eyes. After a while, the bus arrived at the university. The staff member in charge asked the young people to follow her. A huge monument with the educational institution's motto engraved on it towered above them. The sight was truly impressive. The girl told everyone to continue following her. Each of them would be given a training uniform and then taken to the dormitory. She pointed to the building and explained that the men's rooms were located there. They could change and rest. She would announce the time of the exam later. Subai headed for room number 303. From inside, he could hear a story about how the path of a martial arts master begins with an awareness of the importance of resources. The young man continued his story, adding that his father had once purchased 3 drops of blood from an extremely rare beast in Yushang, and then commissioned a master apothecary to create 3 vials of first-class elixirs. One of them was now in his hands. The listeners were amazed. Was it really the blood of a beast? The door to the room swung open, and the protagonist entered. He greeted them, introduced himself, and said that he would also be living there. The young man with the vial introduced himself as Han Jiagan. The other applicants also gave their names, Tao Jiakun and Fang Chao. Fang Chao said that they could do without formalities. After all, they were now neighbors. He also said that Han Jiagan had rare animal blood. Jiagan repeated his story about the 3 drops. Subai wondered if it was the blood he had recently sold. One of the applicants asked how much such a rarity would cost. Jia Gang replied that it wasn't that expensive. Each drop was valued at just over 30,000, and altogether they cost less than 100,000. Not a bad price. Subai thought that the shop owner had cheated him and made dozens of times more. He was definitely a swindler. The young men looked out the window and noticed a beautiful girl walking across the courtyard. If there was a beauty contest on campus this year, she would definitely be worth voting for. With her long legs and slender figure, she was simply a goddess. The attendant noticed that this was a men's dormitory and wondered who this beauty was looking for. The applicants buzzed with excitement. A real beauty queen had appeared on their campus. Who would get such a girl? The girl announced loudly that she was looking for a young man named Subai. The attendant shouted to the entire dormitory, "Who here is Subai?" The young man had to respond because a beauty was waiting for him. The protagonist told his roommates that he would be back soon and left the room. The young people were stunned. The applicants looked at each other. Could it be that the beautiful woman had come for this guy? How could he have kept this a secret? Lin Yanzhen said that Subai looked great in uniform. The protagonist smiled and replied that he would not deny the obvious. Yanzhen noted that the young man had become even more attractive. The applicants peered out of the windows and were surprised. The beauty was adjusting his clothes. Were they really that close? Lin Yanzhen asked about admission. Was he angry with her? The young man replied that he was not, but admitted that he had planned to apply on his own. He added that he understood that Lin Yanzhen had done it for him, and he was grateful. The girl was surprised. She thought he would be angry. Yanzhen reminded him that the entrance exam was the day after tomorrow and gave him an elixir of improvement to help him. Subai said that she had already helped him a lot, so she could keep the elixir for herself. The girl waved her hand and said it was time for her to go, but they would see each other again soon. His roommates began to ask the protagonist about this goddess. Were they acquainted? Subai replied that she was not a goddess at all. They were classmates and had known each other for a long time. The young people reminded him that they were friends and neighbors and asked Subai to introduce them to the girl. After all, it wasn't difficult. Jiagan suggested that they get together again for dinner to discuss everything in detail. The neighbors said that Subai could rest for now, and they would go prepare. Subai took out Xiaoba and decided to check what kind of elixir Lin Yanzhen had given him. Subai decided he should go out and get some fresh air. The young men had the chi potion in their hands. He said that the turtle was waiting for a treat. Subai smiled and asked if Xiaoba knew what would happen after drinking this potion. The young man said that he would not go to such a luxurious restaurant. The young people advised Subai to eat and drink well. Everything else was not his concern. Jiagan said that it was a great joy for all of them that Subai had come to the university and made friends with them so quickly. The first toast was raised for this. Subai replied that such formalities were unnecessary, as they were friends. Subai said that he and Lin Yanzhen had studied together in high school. He would talk to her later about meeting them. The protagonist noticed that he needed help. Subai added that he had the blood of some rare animal and wanted the young people to help him sell it. Fang Chao examined the vial and said that it was even better than Jiagang's. Jiagang agreed and added that he didn't think he would ever see anything like it. Jiagan said that he couldn't give an exact price right now. However, he needed to contact his father, who would come and give his assessment. Subai said they had to hurry because the food on the table would get cold. His father answered the phone and asked if his son had spent all his pocket money again. He had sent his son to university so that he could become a strong master, not so that he could party every day. Jiagan assured him that he was not calling about money. He had something extremely serious to discuss. The young man told his father that his roommate had 7 drops of blood that he wanted to sell. The quality was even better than the blood his father had given him. However, he couldn't name a price. The man was excited. Could the blood really be of better quality? Jiagan suggested that his father come and see for himself. The man found out the address and added that he would take Master Cao with him. An hour later, Master Cao had already examined the sample and said that it was incredible. The energy here was the best he had ever seen. With this blood, first-class purification pills could be created. The man asked if Master Cao was sure of his words. The specialist replied that there could be no mistake. Even when tested with first-class equipment, the value of the essence would be even higher than he expected. Who would have thought that Subai would have such a rarity? Master Cao asked how much the young man wanted for the blood. Subai said that his friends had told him that the blood of rare animals could not be sold for money, but could be exchanged for potions of equivalent value. The man noted that since Subai was now his son's friend, he would not pressure him. He would take all the drops and send 14 bottles of blood qi in return. The man asked if Subai wanted to become part of the Han family. In the future, they would be able to provide the young man with all the necessary resources. Subai thanked him for the offer and said he wasn't interested yet. Mr. Han suggested that the young man think about it some more. A girl entered the room and said that this guy didn't want to become part of their family. Lin Yanzhan added that in that case no one should force him. Subai was surprised. What was Yanzhan doing here? Jiagan was also surprised. Had the goddess lost her way? The girl replied that she had seen them by chance. Master Cao was extremely surprised when he saw Lin Yanzhan. Mr. Han smiled and said that there had been a misunderstanding. Subai and his son were studying together and were good friends. Lin Yanzhen suggested that the young man accompany her to the campus. Subai agreed and added that he had just finished everything here. Subai said goodbye and said he would see Mr. Han again in the future. Master Cao wished the young man well. Jiagan asked him to wait for him and added that he would also return to campus. His father told his son that they were not done yet. Mr. Han told Jiagan to make sure to get close to Subai. The future of the Han family might depend on it. They had to make sure that girl didn't get in the way and come between their friendship. The son replied to his father that he understood. The next day arrived. The training ground of the military university campus. The instructor announced that in the next few days there would be a special test for all first-year students. The location for this event would be the battlefield of myriad races. The cadets were surprised. Wasn't that too dangerous? The instructor replied that the main thing was to survive. It didn't matter if they failed the test. However, the area had been cleared and nothing would threaten their lives. The instructor added that a squad would be formed from the next 50 people. Each would have their own teacher and a bronze-ranked supervisor. He wished the cadets victory. Lin Yanzhan told the protagonist that they were in the same group. The young man realized that the girl had arranged it that way on purpose. Their roommates were happy that they were on the same team. A woman approached the young people and told them that the 8th squad should gather. It was instructor La Yuxin. Yuxin warned that she would be giving out all the assignments. The students noted that their instructor was very beautiful. Yuxin pointed out that the first thing the cadets had to do was write their wills. The instructor added that they had one day to do so. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, she would be waiting for them at the teleportation square. They would be going to the battlefield, so they should not be late. Lin Yanzan asked what Subai was thinking about. The protagonist replied that he had nothing to write in his will and would return to the dormitory. The girl said that in that case, they would meet tomorrow. The cadets noted that this was very cool, because tomorrow they would be going to the battlefield. Jagan suggested that the protagonist rest before tomorrow's performances. The young man replied that he had a lot to do, so he wasn't going anywhere. Jagan saw an interesting turtle and said that its shell was harder than usual. Subai admitted that it was his pet Xiaoba and that it was a real gourmet. The young people said goodbye and said they were leaving, but would see each other soon. Subai wished them a good time. Subai noticed that Xiaoba did nothing but eat. The young man had bottles of potion in his hands. He said that today he would let the turtle eat its fill. However, as soon as they were on the battlefield, it would be better to show her what she was capable of. After eating, our hero checked the indicators and noted that the blood chi powder had done its job. The characteristics were impressive. Now there was hope that Xiaoba would be able to prove himself on the battlefield. The next day arrived. An order came to report to the chief instructor that they were fully ready. The person responsible for conducting the test said that they were waiting for orders from the instructor. An order came to prepare for teleportation. By this time, the portal had already been activated. The cadets were surprised. Only at a military university could one see such a massive teleportation system. Lin Yanzhan asked Subaya to be careful. The young man advised the girl not to worry and added that they would definitely succeed. After a while, the cadets found themselves on the battlefield. The combat officer asked why the deputy battalion commander had come out personally. The instructor said that enough had been said. It was necessary to assemble a team to defend the cadets together with him. La Yuxin said that they were heading to military zone F-269, a jungle where the animals had already been eliminated. The cadets' task was to separate the hearts of ghost cats from their bodies on the battlefield. The new recruits reported to the leadership that they were ready for testing. The combat officer told Teacher Liao not to worry. Clearing the battlefield was not dangerous. Sending these new recruits into real combat was like sending food to the enemy. They didn't need it. But why was the deputy commander personally leading the defense group? Yu Xin thanked Deputy Battalion Commander Li Da for his concern. The officer replied that these new recruits from the military university were future soldiers on the battlefield, and protecting them was his direct responsibility. The imperial capital is the highest center of military command in the Dragon Nation. The chief of staff received a report about an emergency situation. According to the latest intelligence from the battlefield of all races, a huge number of ferocious animals had broken through the line of defense. 12 powerful golden-level ghost cats had joined the attack. They were targeting 12 military bases on the southwestern border. The chief of staff ordered the immediate tracking of the ferocious animals, and all military bases strengthened their defenses. Right now, first-year students from all military universities are undergoing training on the battlefield of all races. These students are the future of the nation, and they must not be harmed in any way. Military Base F-269. An order has been issued to clear the battlefield as soon as possible. The danger is increasing with every passing minute. Lin Yanzhan said that the fur, flesh, and claws of these ghost cats can be used to make weapons or medicine. Subai replied that now it's no wonder why so many people are rushing to the battlefield of all races. Rare materials are everywhere. Xiaoba will feast at night. Subai said that they needed to collect more animal hearts to exchange for chi blood powder when they returned. Then Xiaoba would be able to level up again. The protagonist noted that the last warning had been received. It concerned the novice warrior. This time, the threat was level 5. Yanzhan asked what was going on. Subai approached Instructor Liao, who was sitting on a tree branch at the time, and said that something had happened. A large group of ferocious animals was approaching them from the southwest. This was reliable information. The instructor climbed down from the tree and told the protagonist that this was a battlefield for all races. This was no place for frivolous conversation. Did the young man realize the consequences of causing panic among his classmates? Subai declared that he was not joking. A huge number of ferocious beasts were indeed approaching. The instructor asked if Subai really felt the animals attacking. She was sure that there were no animals within a 2-kilometer radius. Subai told the deputy battalion commander that he was not joking. There were at least 100 ghost cats moving in their direction. They were now 3 kilometers away. The deputy battalion commander was surprised. Was the student really claiming that his premonition ability was superior? Instructor Liao suggested that Subai was just nervous because it was his first time on the battlefield, and that he shouldn't take everything so seriously. Lin Yanzan noted that conclusions should not be drawn until the situation was clear. She believed what Subai was saying. The protagonist added that the animals were indeed approaching, and urged them to believe him, as he was an animal tamer with a special sense. Instructor Liao was surprised. Did the student really have such an ability? But why hadn't the school noted this? Suddenly, a huge monster, a large white ferocious cat, jumped out from behind a hill. The beast was immediately attacked. The attack was carried out with the help of Xiaoba's turtle. The turtle was unharmed. Instructor Liao was genuinely surprised. What was this? Was it really a turtle? As expected, her appearance made things awkward. Subai announced that he was a beast tamer, and that Xiaoba the turtle was his animal. The protagonist said that Xiaoba would deal with the small ones, and he would take care of the king of cats. The students were surprised. Was this turtle really that powerful? How could it defeat the king of cats? Lin Yanzhan thought, was this really Subai's tamed beast? Subai instructed Xiaobai to demonstrate the wild cat's capabilities. The students were amazed. Where did this turtle get such speed? The deputy battalion commander was amazed. Did Subai really have such strength? Instructor Liao also did not expect this, and noted that this student's animal training skills were exceptional. The wild beast swung its paw, intending to sink its claws into the turtle. However, something went wrong. The turtle's shell was much stronger than expected, and the wild cat broke all its claws. The deputy battalion commander said that this was insane protection. How could a mid-level creature withstand the blow of the king of cats' claws? But now was not the time for surprises. The order was given to finish off the king while he was surrounded. The armed soldiers covering the students set about their task. The deputy battalion commander jumped high above the beast and swung his sword. The young man knew that the weak spot was the stomach. Subai ordered Xiaoba to use his best move. The students were surprised. Why was the turtle spinning in place? What did best move mean? The book said that the weak spot of the king of cats was its belly. Subai prepared to attack the beast. The young man swung hard and kicked the turtle, giving it the necessary acceleration. The turtle crashed into the king of cats at tremendous speed. The deputy battalion commander noted that Xiaoba had hit the weak spot precisely. Would the beast survive? Bleeding profusely, the huge beast stopped and began to sink to the ground. The monster was finished. The Cat King lay in a pool of blood. Soldiers and students surrounded him. The students cheered. The Cat King had been defeated. The deputy battalion commander thought, had they really won? Lin Yanzhan threw herself into the protagonist's arms and said that Subai was simply incredible. After all, he had defeated the silver-level king of cats. Jiagan also admitted that Subai was incredibly cool. But where did the young man get such a turtle? They wanted one too. Subai wondered what Xiaoba was eating there. They had to return immediately. However, the turtle paid no attention to anyone. It had the coveted crystal in its paws. There was a rumbling in the sky. The deputy battalion commander said it was dangerous. The king of cats was calling his own kind with his last howl. Could there be an even more dangerous creature? Operations headquarters. The man said that, according to the analysis of energy waves from the front line, a huge number of animals of unknown level had been detected at base F-269. They were extremely dangerous. Mr. Wen Yuan expressed his hope that the military would be able to provide immediate support. The officer said he would assemble a group of scouts to escort Mr. Yuan to the battlefield. Wen Yuan replied that it was not necessary. He could not wait, and would go there himself. Mr. Yuan added that he would be on the battlefield in 20 minutes. The officer replied that he would immediately give the appropriate orders. The soldier thought this was terrible. If Hu Lin got angry, the whole of Jiangzhou would not be able to restrain him. The monster that appeared in the sky said that humans were just a lower species. Teacher La Yuxin was shocked. How was this possible? How could it speak human language? An animal that understood human speech must be at least gold level, and should not appear here. It was necessary to immediately take up a defensive position and send the wounded to the center. The monster descended to the ground and asked how these inferior beings dared to destroy its kind. The deputy battalion commander was amazed. Why was this monster eating the king of cats? That was impossible. How could something like this appear in this area? The system informed the protagonist of an extremely high danger. A gold-level beast had been detected nearby. It was necessary to leave this place immediately. Everyone present realized that it was indeed a gold-level beast, a mutated ghost cat king. It was in a bloodthirsty berserk state. The students thought that even their teacher had probably never encountered such a creature. Lin Yanzhan announced that she wanted to go home. She didn't want to die. The deputy battalion commander said that they shouldn't expect any support. The officer held his sword forward and shouted for them to take the wounded and retreat. He would cover everyone. After that, the deputy battalion commander rushed to attack the mutated king of ghost cats. After the monster's first attack, the officer was thrown far back. The mutated king said that such warriors posed no threat to him. Su Bai ordered Xiaoba to immediately protect the deputy commander and throw the turtle forward. The shell of this turtle was exceptionally strong. Therefore, Xiaoba was ready for battle. Xiaoba was attacked and thrown aside. Deep scratches remained on the shell. Su Bai asked anxiously if Xiaoba was okay. Blood appeared from the protagonist's mouth. Lin Yanzhan was surprised. Was Su Bai really injured? Instructor Liu Yuxin was amazed at how this young man could have been hurt. The deputy commander suggested that it was because of his talent as an animal tamer, the fusion of origins. Liu Yuxin objected that this was impossible and decided to check. There were no visible wounds or injuries. Could this guy really have the legendary animal tamer skill, merging origins? Su Bai calmly stated that he was fine. Liu Yuxin announced that Su Bai was indeed taking the attacks of the silver-level cat upon himself to protect the tamed animal. She ordered that he be helped immediately. Jiagan agreed and added that the young man should not be left alone. Soldiers and students from all sides rushed at the monster. The silver-level cat king growled that they were just a bunch of bugs in front of him. Lin Yanzhan shouted at Su Bai to be careful and covered him with her body. In the next moment, there was a powerful explosion. Su Bai realized that he had finally absorbed the crystallization of the silver-level cat king. The little turtle's level rose to bronze. Its shell could now absorb energy to restore its protective barrier, tripling its defense. Instructor Liu Yuxin immediately realized that she was looking at an evolved animal. The deputy commander was amazed. Could this creature really be of epic level? Lin Yanzhan asked Su Bai how he was feeling. He replied that everything was fine. Su Bai ordered the turtle to destroy the beast and indicated the direction of the attack. The silver-level cat king was struck and thrown far back. The deputy commander thought that Su Bai's tamed animal was only bronze level, but it already radiated a terrifying pressure. The monster rose on its hind legs and growled that it would destroy everyone. The soldiers noticed that the cat king had fallen into a rage and gone berserk. They had to retreat urgently, or better yet, scatter in different directions. The berserker growled that no one would leave alive and sent wild black cats after them. Everyone except Su Bai began to retreat in panic. He ordered the turtle to stop the berserker and put an end to his madness. The huge bronze turtle delivered an energy blow to the black cats, and the beasts, tucking their tails between their legs, were forced to retreat. Su Bai ordered the turtle to unleash its full power. A loud roar sounded, and a powerful energy stream burst from its mouth, aimed directly at the berserker. People were amazed by the power of this wave. Mr. Wen Yuan, watching from a high tree branch, thought, "Is it really over?" The battlefield looked terrifying. What they had to go through. The deputy commander gave orders and supervised the clearing of the area. Mr. Wen Yuan came closer and was delighted to see that Lin Yanzhan was unharmed. Instructor Liu Yuxin was surprised. What brought this gentleman here? The officer reported that he was the deputy commander of the military base. One of his units had joined forces with the university's teachers and students and engaged in battle with a large group of ghost cats. They managed to destroy more than 800 creatures, including several bronze level and one silver level. A representative of the gold level was also spotted. Losses are currently being counted, and the wounded are being treated. Wen Yuan was astonished. Could it be that a golden level creature had appeared? It was hard to believe that it had been defeated. The deputy commander reported that it was Su Bai who had done it with his tamed beast. Wen Yuan asked if it was true that Su Bai had destroyed the Cat King. The young man modestly replied that it was a joint achievement of the deputy commander and the teachers, not his personal victory. Wen Yuan asked if Su Bai would like to continue his training at the Zhangzhou fortress after graduating from the institute. He was willing to personally mentor the young man. The hero thanked him for the offer but said he had not yet made a decision. The officer reported that the battlefield had been cleared and was awaiting further orders. Mr. Yuan ordered everyone to return to base. An order came in. All candidates must pass through the portal one at a time. The students were required to return and train properly, as this was the strongest group the deputy commander had ever encountered. The officer noted that these guys were special. Student Su Bai stood out in particular. He had enormous potential. Instructor La Yuxin couldn't even imagine how powerful he would become in the future. Upon his return, Su Bai was delighted to be back at the academy. The students were happy. It had been a truly exciting adventure. Lin Yanzhan breathed a sigh of relief. The heroes were greeted with honors. Student Su Bai was recognized as a true hero. The instructor said that he had already read their battle report. All of these students were true heroes of the university. Their grades would be the highest in history. Su Bai said he wanted to return to the dormitory, take a shower, and get a good night's sleep. The young man noted that this time, they had truly accomplished something great. Surely the university would count their military achievements. Jiagan wondered how many resources these merits could be exchanged for. After all, Su Bai had defeated a golden-level animal, which was a huge achievement. Now he would be able to exchange his reward for a whole basket of resources for training. Jiagan asked the protagonist what kind of turtle it was. He wanted one for himself too. At that moment, Xiaoba was sleeping soundly and having a pleasant dream. There was a knock at the door. Jiagan got up and asked who was barging in so early in the morning. Girls with gifts were standing at the door. They introduced themselves as members of the Zhongwu Student Council and brought the heroes breakfast prepared by their older sisters. It was impossible to refuse. The girls asked which of them was Su Bai. Jiagan let the girls in and said that the older sisters were incredibly kind. They would not let their care go to waste. The girls were still interested in which one of them was Su Bai. Each of them wanted to take a picture with him. Jiagan said that Su Bai had already gone out for his morning run. The girls were surprised. Why hadn't they been told right away that Su Bai wasn't there? The boys asked if Brother Su had become a celebrity. The girls suggested turning on the TV. The army channel was indeed broadcasting important news on huge screens. Meanwhile, Su Bai was jogging at the university stadium. The morning news reported that the day before, there had been large-scale attacks on army bases in several provinces, where tens of thousands of clans of ferocious animals were active. Among the attacking creatures were golden-level beasts. Many students from different provinces were injured. In these battles, the teachers and students of the military university heroically repelled the attacks. They managed to destroy one ferocious gold-level beast, as well as many others. Among the students, freshman Su Bai distinguished himself by single-handedly holding back a gold-level beast. Under the guidance of instructors and a bronze-level expert from the army, he performed an outstanding feat. All front lines were destroyed, but the military university emerged victorious from the battle. The country's army decided to collectively award the students and instructors of the university with a second-class merit award, the Great Wall Silver Medal. Student Su Bai will be awarded a first-class merit award and will receive the Great Wall Gold Medal. Everyone in the stadium cheered. The human race would now surely be victorious. Everyone wanted to meet this student. Su Bai thought it would be best to leave the stadium as soon as possible and hide in the dormitory or library. His sister contacted him and happily said that he was being shown on TV. Su Bai replied that he had already seen it. The girl added that his parents wanted him to come home. They were going to reward him. His father said that his son deserved the great honor. All the neighbors were talking about him. His mother said that his third uncle's younger sister had called. She said she wanted to introduce Su Bai to her girlfriend. Xiao Mei said that her brother should come and visit them, otherwise his fans would break down their door. Su Bai agreed. The test had just ended, and he had a 2-day break. He would pack his things and go home. The neighbors were shocked that the hero had returned to the family. Everyone came out to greet him. Su Bai was touched that everyone was waiting for him. Neighbors and relatives said that the great hero had returned. Xiao Mei was very happy to see her brother. The neighbors invited the young man to come into their homes and stay for lunch. The hero's father thanked everyone for their support and said that his son would stay at home. As soon as the young man had rested, he would visit everyone. The children continued to line up and offered to introduce the young man to their sisters and friends. Once home, the hero said that if he had known how everything would turn out, he would have sneaked out at night. Xiao Mei said that it was useless. Her aunt had posted a guard at the door and was waiting for Su Bai to return so she could introduce him to her granddaughter. Mom said that Dad would feed everyone now, and her daughter could help them. Su Bai found himself in his room and thought that now he could finally get some rest. The young man logged into the system and checked the necessary information. Something surprised him. An animal for the contract had been found. A small kitten. Xiao Mei asked her brother what had happened. Su Bai asked if their family had gotten a cat. Xiao Mei pointed to the kitten and said that it was Bai. He was eating right now. Xiao Mei approached Bai and said he was very cute. A few days ago, she had stumbled upon him on the road and brought him home to raise. Subai thought that if his sister liked the kitten, it should stay. It was a cute creature. He was surprised when he realized that this stray cat had the blood of a white tiger. Xiaomei noticed that the kitten liked her brother. Subai decided that he needed to be tamed. He said he wanted to discuss something with his sister. Could he, the Lord of Beasts, take this bai? The answer was a categorical no. Xiaomei said that her brother couldn't take her little bai away from her too. Subai suggested they come to an agreement. After much persuasion, Xiaomei declared that she didn't need a new laptop or pretty dresses. There would be no deal. 2 days passed. A small white kitten rode in the protagonist's backpack along with the turtle. The hero finally returned to the university. Xiaoba told Bai that this was their boss's school. From that moment on, the turtle promised to protect the kitten. Bai said that Xiaoba was pressuring him. Passers-by recognized the hero, the gold medalist. Many girls went to the dormitory to meet him. Subai suggested that he would now have to wear a mask on the street. An announcement was made over the loudspeaker that student Subai should report to the principal's office immediately. Subai wondered why the principal wanted to see him. At the meeting, the director said that Subai was a worthy person. Thanks to his actions at the military base, the university had decided to reward the young man. He asked what he wanted. Subai replied that his success was only possible thanks to the university and his mentors. The hero knew that the director was notorious for his stinginess. It would not be easy to get him to pay for food for Xiaoba. Subai said that it was not necessary to spend too much. 100 gold-level animal cores would suffice. The director was frightened. Where would he get even one, let alone 100? Maybe Subai wanted to take his position? Subai added that 100 silver-level animal cores would be acceptable. The director refused again. With his military merits, the hero couldn't even count on a single piece. Then Subai said he was willing to exchange his gold medal for 50 silver-level cores. After all, he had sacrificed for the university. The director said that the strong protect the weak. It is both a duty and a mission. Saving students is Subai's mission as a strong person. Subai suggested ending the unnecessary conversation. 50 silver animal cores. Period. The director acknowledged that the army and the university would not forget a hero like Subai. The leader said that he had made a decision. He was ready to allocate 10 bronze-level animal cores. Subai replied that this was not enough. The director decided that the young man was simply bargaining. Subai thought that the old man, as expected, turned out to be very stingy. The director said that in addition to the award, he had something else to tell the student. The university had chosen Subai as the freshman captain for the 100 Universities League competition. The young man realized that the reward was just a pretext, and that the director wanted to tell him this. He said that it was unfair. The director stated that as a student of a military university, Subai should bring glory to his educational institution. In addition, the awards from the league would be substantial. Subai said that experienced players participate in the 100 Universities League, and that it is not easy to get a rank. The man replied that he shouldn't be so timid and told him to get ready. Tomorrow morning, Subai must show up at the training hall without being late. The director thought that young people were becoming more and more difficult these days. Subai decided that the rumors about the director's stinginess were completely justified. The next morning in the training hall, the director announced that this time the 100 Universities League competition would be held by the army. Although the Ministry of Education had allocated fewer resources than to other prestigious universities, he still hoped that the students would perform at their best. The director suggested starting the roll call and first named third-year student Hu Qing-shu, who used the abilities of a medium bronze-level tree. After that, the roll call continued, and other students were called. One of the students said that this was unfair. Their military university was founded later, so the resources allocated for training were much less than those of prestigious schools. The director replied that 10 representatives from the university would participate in the competition this year. All those present were the best students in each year. He then announced that Subai would be the team captain for these competitions. The protagonist decided that the director had made a mistake. The director added that this decision had been made by the university committee after discussion. One of the students objected. Qing Shu was stronger and more experienced than everyone else. Why was a newcomer made captain? Another student also said that Subai was only at the initial bronze level in terms of strength, a whole rank below Qing Shu. The director reminded everyone that they had all seen the news in recent days. Subai had destroyed a ferocious gold-level beast. If anyone wanted to be captain, let them do the same. Then Subai would immediately give up his place. One of the students said it could have been a coincidence. No one present believed him. Qingshu was ready to challenge him right then and there. Subai thought that the old man had gone too far. Now he would become the target of universal criticism. The director said that there were no more announcements, and that the students could go and prepare. There were less than 3 weeks left before the competition. He was counting on everyone. Subai quickly left the room and said he had urgent business to attend to and needed to return to the dormitory. The students were indignant. Where was he rushing off to? One student said that Subai was actually a real coward. He was simply incapable of dealing with a ferocious golden-level beast. Qingshu added that when the competition began, he would make this guy regret what he had done. Subai brought Xiaoba some treats. 15 bronze animal cores should be enough to level up. Subai handed the core to the turtle, but the cat tried to take it away. The young man said that he also had something in store for Xiaoba. The protagonist noticed that the cat's level was too low. First, he needed to start with the Qi blood elixir. Meanwhile, the turtle's plate was already empty. Subai showed the turtle a bag of crystals and said that one bite could be worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. He asked how much it needed to evolve. Subai warned that if the turtle did not begin its evolution, he would give everything to the cat. The turtle took the threat seriously and began to transform. Its body glowed with a powerful light. Subai thought that Xiaoba's level had finally increased. Although the amount of talent had not increased, his abilities and parameters had clearly improved. He noted that Xiaobai's level had also increased. The little kitten had risen to a high normal rank. Now he was awakened. Subai noted that the kitten's agility was extremely high. It was a real leap forward. Both pets had completed their enhancement. It was simply fantastic. Subai thought that now all that remained was to wait for his animals to show their skills in the arena of the 100 Universities League competition. Jiangzhou Military University Library. The students did not expect it to be so huge. The woman at the library said that this institution existed even before the university was founded. The library is the cornerstone of Jiangzhou's heritage. She was surprised that the newcomer had 180 access cards. The woman showed him where to find books on animal training, which interested the young man. He was free to search for the information he needed throughout the library. Subai looked around and realized that there were a huge number of works on animal taming here. It would take a long time to go through them all. He picked up one book and noticed the name Luo Fanya on the cover. He had heard that name somewhere before. Subai opened the book and read, "Heaven and earth converge, eternal soul, divine weapon, sacred animal weaponry, roots of herbs and trees, merging of streams." The protagonist took the book with him. He remembered that he had already encountered a technique called merging streams. But what did eternal soul and armament of sacred animals mean? Qingshu and the other students saw Subai. One of them said that animal tamers had no future, no matter how long they studied. Subai did not expect Master Luo Fan to be so powerful. He created 3 divine techniques: merging streams, weaponizing sacred animals, and eternal soul. It is said that he fought alone against the invasion of all races. Unfortunately, he was still outnumbered and died on the battlefield. Subai decided that he must study this book carefully. While reading, the young man felt the book begin to levitate. He was overcome with surprise. It seemed as if some force was penetrating his body. Subai approached the library administrator and asked if he could borrow the book. The woman replied that the book did not have a classification number. It did not belong to the library, but he had taken it from the shelf, hadn't he? No matter how hard the woman tried, she couldn't open the book. Subai was surprised, because just a minute ago, he had been reading it without any problems. He took the book back, and it opened immediately. The woman decided that there must have been a malfunction, and suggested that the young man take the book and return it after reading it. Subai was surprised. Could he really take it for an unlimited period? The answer was yes. The administrator contacted the director and reported that the student had taken the very book he had left on the shelf. The director was amazed. Could the student really open it? The administrator confirmed this, and the director was pleased. The head of the academy said that perhaps Master Luo Fan had finally waited a century for that very person. If he had known about this in the underworld, he would surely have been happy. 2 weeks passed. It was announced that the 100 Universities League competition would be held in 5 main areas, designated exclusively for combat. 2 teams would meet in each area. The reporter announced that 8 military universities in the province would gather for the tournament. One of the streamers told his subscribers that this year it was almost impossible to get tickets to the 100 Universities League competition, so he would be broadcasting live for small donations. One student was surprised. Did the military university of Longyin really dare to come? They would simply be crushed. A student from a rival university replied that we would see who else would be crushed. The spectators took their seats according to their tickets. The huge stadium was ready to welcome the participants. Instructor La Yuxin appeared in the locker room and asked if everyone was there. One student replied that Subai had not yet arrived, but the rest were already there. Surely he wouldn't run away at the last minute. At that moment, the young man appeared at the door and said that he was not going to back down, especially at the last minute. La Yuxin noted that in a few days, this student's strength had increased significantly. The instructor said that it was good that the captain was already there. The pairing was about to begin, and everyone needed to get ready. Subai replied that he had already thought everything through. The host addressed the audience and asked them to remain silent. Just a month ago, myriads of beast races had thrown significant forces into weakening the human army. At that time, small groups of ferocious animals attacked rear military bases, and military university students in those provinces were almost completely wiped out. The host asked the audience, should they take revenge? The crowd shouted that humans must defeat and destroy all ferocious animals. The host continued, if the human race has such spirit, can the beasts avoid defeat? With that, he declared the 100 Universities League competition officially open. He explained the format of the tournament, team battles. Up to 5 representatives from each team participate in each match. The losers are eliminated, and the winners advance. The team with at least one fighter remaining is considered the winner. Now the pairs are randomly determined. Qingshu said that they would face Qingyun Military University. Longyun University had already faced Shinmin, but their lineup had not yet been determined. The academy director appeared nearby and asked what lineup Subai had decided on. Subai said that he would go first, and the other 4 would decide for themselves. The students were surprised. Was this really the captain's strategy? Qingshu asked if they should base their strategy on Qingyun Military University's lineup. What if the captain who went first lost? It would be a disgrace for the entire university. Subai told the team not to worry. He would not let them down. The director noted that the young man had grown noticeably over the past few days. His confidence and prudence were impressive. However, the director warned Subai not to go too far. He needed to leave his comrades at least a little booty. Otherwise, they would be offended, and it would be difficult for the young man to get along with the others later. After the first match, it was announced that Shinmin Military University had won. Instructor La Yuxin said that this year, Shinmin University was indeed strong. They had quickly defeated Longyang. Now it was Subai's turn. Subai headed to the arena and told everyone to watch him closely. Qingshu noted that he was interested to see the captain's abilities. Lin Yanzun declared that Subai must win the competition. The rivals met in the middle of the arena. The opponent asked our hero, "You must be the freshman who destroyed the fierce golden-level beast?" Subai did not deny it. Our hero's opponent turned out to be Li Lingfeng, a middle bronze-level owner and captain of the Qingyun Military Institute team. Subai opened his backpack and told Xiaoba to come out. Lingfeng was surprised. Is this really his animal? His opponent laughed. Did a freshman really bring his pet to the competition? Subai replied that he was in a hurry that morning and didn't have time to eat breakfast. The young man took food out of the bag, while Xiaoba stretched his legs intensely. The audience was surprised. Why did Subai bring a small turtle to the competition? Was there really no one more worthy at the military university? Instructor La Yuxin was surprised. Is Subai really eating peanuts and drinking Coke right in the arena? A team member said that their captain seriously underestimated the opponent, an intermediate bronze-level opponent. Will the captain be able to handle it? Subai said that Xiaoba had absorbed many animal cores and now should not disappoint. The turtle was determined to win. Li Lingfeng felt the powerful energy emanating from the turtle. Where could this animal get such strength? Could the turtle really be tamed? Xiaoba took the form of a black turtle. Lingfeng immediately admitted that the beast looked terrifying. The audience was also surprised. Where did such a huge turtle come from? Does it really have skin like that? It shines like armor. One eye is the size of a basketball. No wonder Subai was able to destroy a gold-level animal. Lin Yanzan noted that Subai had become even stronger. But when did Xiaoba grow so much? Subai told Xiaoba to hurry up. The turtle hurried and the opponent was deactivated. Ling Feng was lying on the arena. He admitted that the turtle was very fast. Subai asked Ling Feng to hold on a little longer. He wanted to finish his coke before it was all over. Ling Feng thought it was an unexpected attack, and now he needed to gather all his strength. His opponent told the protagonist that now they would definitely find out who was stronger. Lin Feng swung to strike. The turtle was approaching. The opponent changed his mind, turned around and started to run away. The turtle set off in pursuit. The audience saw Lin Feng's eyes on the screen. They were filled with horror. Instructor La Yuxin was forced to admit that Subai had indeed won. The director noted that the younger generation was simply monstrous. A student said that the turtle was too strong. One of the spectators wondered, why didn't Qing Yun, the captain of the university, dodge such a strong but slow blow? He was told that the turtle's speed only seemed slow because it was very large. Even the holder of the intermediate bronze level could not stop this turtle. Xiao Ba is invincible. The host announced that Subai and Jiangzhou Military University had won the first match. Now it was time to bring the second representative of Qingyun University, Zhang Xuan, onto the stage. A girl armed with a machete appeared on stage. She decided to rely on speed to win and not let the turtle get close to her. Xuan was a mid-level bronze player. The audience watched as Zhang Xuan used her speed advantage to dodge the giant turtle's attacks. Xuan decided she had found her advantage. One strike was enough for her to win. La Yuxin noted that Zhang Xuan was dodging in search of opportunities. At such speed, the turtle couldn't touch her at all. Qing Shu noticed that Subai was once again underestimating his opponent. Xuan jumped high once again and said that the turtle was indeed strong. The girl jumped over the turtle, landed in the arena near our hero, and declared that she would now deal with the tamer himself. Subai thought it was too late to change positions. La Yuxin shouted that they were in trouble because Xuan was going to attack Subai directly. Yanzan shouted for the young man to be careful. Xuan approached to a dangerous distance, swung her arm, and declared that Subai had lost. The young man did not react in any way. The next moment, the turtle swung its tail, and Xuan, failing to reach her target, was forced to fly away. The students acknowledged that it was a magnificent swing. The move is called the Divine Tail of the Turtle. Lin Yanzhan breathed a sigh of relief. Her colleagues said that their captain had won again. Isn't that too fast? La Yuxin added that this guy was really very strong. Subai admitted that Xuan was very close to him, so Xiaoba hit her too hard. Nothing personal, said the young man, and wished the girl a speedy recovery. Zhang Xuan was carried away from the arena on a stretcher. Subai said that now he would take more serious action. The protagonist asked who was next to come out and fight him. The next candidate was also defeated. This happened several times. In the end, the judge announced that Subai and Jiangzhou Military University were the winners. The audience noted that Subai was eating peanuts the whole time while the turtle was fighting in the arena. However, the victory was still awarded to him. They had never seen such an invincible opponent. Yanzhan thought that the young man had won 5 victories in a row. Subai thought, why does that sound so strange? It's as if they are calling me a turtle. After the matches, La Yuxin congratulated the young man. The director announced that Subai had single-handedly defeated the entire Qingyun Military University and brought great glory to Jiangzhou Military University. Qingshu said that the morning matches were over. It was time to rest a little, and after the lunch break, the second round would begin. In the hall of the Fuchuan Military University, the instructor said that if they faced the Jiangzhou Military University in the next match, they would most likely send Subai into battle. One of the students admitted that his beast was practically invincible in close combat. What should we do? He asked. The coach continued. If they do face Jiangzhou, Mao Kai will have to fight this guy. He is the team captain and uses poison abilities. Therefore, it is necessary to keep your distance and use poison to take down the turtle. Mao Kai agreed and added that when the time came, he would keep his distance and use poison. In the hall of the military university, Shinmin was also receiving instructions. The coach said there was no need to be discouraged. Subai is strong, but his weaknesses are also obvious. The only way to win is to find an opportunity to bypass the turtle's line of defense and defeat Subai. The team captain said that the director was right. If we face Subai today, this guy can handle him. Zhang Xuan's strategy this morning was correct, but he lacked speed. The director added that Li Lingfeng had good speed and excellent fighting skills. We need to find the right moment and attack him. The host said that the morning matches were impressive. The students showed energetic determination and a fearless spirit. The second round will begin very soon, and now there will be a random distribution. The audience noted that the other members of the Jiangzhou Military University team would not even have to fight. Subai alone could handle the other universities. It's great to have such a member on the team. Viewers said that in a clash with military universities from other provinces, Jiangzhou Military University will be defeated so badly that it will not be able to raise its head. The results of the second round of the draw were announced. Subai's first match will be against Li Feng from Shinmen Military University. Li Feng noted that they had already prepared a strategy specifically for this opponent. Subai told Li Feng not to be nervous. He would soon be finished too. The match began, and Li Feng, a high bronze-level player and team captain, immediately demonstrated his unique abilities. The young man moved discreetly around the turtle, trying to trick it. His opponent activated the pure wind step skill, and even managed to kick the turtle's shell. Li Feng claimed that he would now find the beast's weak spot. The audience wondered, can't the turtle hit Li Feng? The audience wondered if Li Feng would have a chance to win if he suddenly attacked Subai. Some female spectators admitted that they liked Li Feng. The stands urged Li Feng to be more active and attack more intensely. La Yuxin suggested that the opponent was trying to lure the turtle away from Subai. But why wasn't the team captain doing anything? Qingshu suggested that Subai was looking for something. The protagonist took a can of soda out of his backpack and said that he had finally found it. Subai said that the lunch was too salty. The young man took a few sips. The audience demanded that Li Feng finally attack his opponent. Li Feng thought that at such a distance, even a tail strike would not work. Li Feng took a running start and rushed past the turtle towards Subai. At the same time, he claimed that his opponent was underestimating him. Subai stood with his back to his opponent, finishing his soda. Li Feng became even more angry and declared that he would make his opponent pay for this. However, he froze in mid-jump and did not understand what was happening. Why couldn't he move? An illusion skill had been activated. A huge image of a turtle took hold of Li Feng and prevented him from moving. Subai told Xiaoba to stop playing around and finish the battle quickly. The turtle sent a powerful stream of energy and blew his opponent off the arena, sending him towards the stands. One of the spectators said that now everything was clear. It wasn't that Li Feng wasn't strong enough. Subai was just too powerful. How could anyone possibly fight him? A participant asked the director, "What should we do?" Li Feng was injured and was in a deactivated state. The director said that they needed to surrender. The host announced that instead of continuing the match against such a strong opponent as Subai, the rivals had decided to surrender. Jiangzhou Military University's next opponent will be Fuchuan Military University. The audience was puzzled as to how they could surrender without a fight. This Subai is definitely very strong. Is it really better to surrender than to be humiliated? The instructor said that it was good that Shinmin voluntarily surrendered. Now Subai can save his strength for Fuchuan. Qingshu noticed that the captain of Fuchuan uses poison. He is not so easy to deal with. The match began. The opponent suggested not rushing into the fight. The young man acknowledged that Subai was very strong, and he knew he was no match for him. But how about a deal? Mao Kai was a mid-level bronze player and the captain of his team. Subai was surprised. "What deal are you talking about? I didn't come here to negotiate." Lin Yanzhan was also surprised. "What does a deal have to do with it?" Mao Kai said that he really wanted to discuss animal taming with his opponent. Subai was surprised. "What is this guy up to? What is he even going to talk about?" Mao Kai kept his hands behind his back. Some of the fingers on his right hand were coated with poison. The protagonist realized that his opponent was trying to stall for time. The ability to use poison takes time to activate. Subai ordered the turtle to attack his opponent. "There will be no deals." Mao Kai said that Subai had unfortunately realized this too late. No matter how good he was at taming animals, he would not be able to escape the poisonous mist. Mao Kai began to be covered in a green poisonous mist of increased concentration, and added that now there was no way to prevent it. Qingshu shouted at Subai not to underestimate his opponent. During previous trials, Mao Kai had poisoned many high-level animals. The instructor was puzzled. What should they do now? The director called for calm. Panic only gets in the way, because the outcome is still unknown. Mao Kai moved forward, and the poisonous mist began to envelop the giant turtle. The opponent said that Subai couldn't see through the poisonous mist, so he was invulnerable. Mao Kai wanted to see how long Subai could last in the poisonous mist. This guy was too careless. As soon as he released the poison, the competition would be over. Mao Kai saw his opponent's outline through the mist and thought, "Is he meditating to resist the destructive poisonous mist?" However, Subai would have to face more than just that. Subai thought, could it be that Maokai has decided to attack me from behind through the poisonous mist? It was unfortunate that his opponent had encountered him. Maokai was surprised. How is this possible? How did this guy withstand my powerful poison claw strike in this poisonous fog? The director announced that it was the Merge Streams skill. It was a high-level tamer talent. Subai had already learned to use the tamed animal's defense on himself. Subai said, "It's time to wrap things up. This poisonous mist has already gone bad and is starting to stink." Maokai saw the outline of a huge turtle above him through the green mist and thought that he was now defenseless. His colleague admitted that Subai was too strong. He had thrown the poisoner out of the poisonous mist. Lin Yanzhan declared that she would not let Subai get past her. The host announced that since Maokai from Fuchuan Military University was unable to continue the battle, he also chose to surrender. Jiangzhou Military University was declared the winner of the provincial competition. Subai thanked the turtle for its help. The director said that Subai had brought glory to the university this time, for which he was grateful. The young man asked the director to allocate additional resources to him to improve his level. He needed to level up. The director thought that this guy wanted to use him, but he was not so easy to fool. The director said that since they had won the provincial competition, the army would award the young man points for his achievements. He would be able to go to the transportation department and exchange the points when the time came. The team members were upset. How did the points relate to them? Only the captain participated in the competition. The director said it didn't matter. In 3 days they would go to Luo City to participate in the regional competition. Who wanted to participate? Subai expressed his desire. The director said that everyone could go back and rest. They needed to prepare for the regional competition in 3 days, and he was counting on everyone. Subai asked the director, "What about resources?" The director said he would be waiting for an amazing performance from the team captain. "See you in 3 days." The news reported that the Ministry of Prodigies had shown its best side in this competition. The most dazzling was Subai from Jiangzhou Military University. He won the competition, defeating 5 opponents single-handedly in all 3 battles. Strong young people will make the country strong. The young man found himself in the training hall and thought he had finally found a quiet place. Subai took the white cat out of his backpack and said he understood. Xiaobai was nervous. Subai said that he was only able to exchange his military merit points for 4 silver-level animal cores. Therefore, it was better to consume them little by little, chewing them well. The white cat purred, its eyes expressing satisfaction, and began to devour the silver-level animal cores. Suddenly, Xiaobai began to grow in size, glowing intensely. Subai learned the necessary information. The high normal level had been raised to the initial bronze level. The little kitten was evolving into a sharp golden-white tiger. Subai said that in that case, Xiaobai could eat a few more cores. Subai told the cat to eat calmly. No one would take them away. After that, he would be able to raise his level again. The protagonist thought he had given all the cores to the cat, but there was no reaction. What went wrong? However, Xiaobai did evolve and began to increase in size again. The protagonist noted that this was even cooler than Xiaobai's previous evolution. Subai activated the information board. He realized that the tamed animal was a sharp golden-white tiger with an average bronze level. The guy thought it was worth it. He spent 4 silver-level animal cores. These attributes defy the heavens. The young man declared that the regional competition would depend on Xiaobai's performance. In the imperial capital, in a suburban villa, a video of Subai's performance was being watched. The man suggested that this Subai had many secrets and was quite interesting. The man told his assistant to find out everything about this guy. It was quite possible that his turtle was even more ferocious than the one Luo Fan had before. 3 days later, the Luohe Military University competition took place. As expected, the competition field for this university was several times larger than the previous one. The director looked at the stands and said that the spectators of Luohe Military University were trying to scare them. Subai asked the director why there was an empty seat there. The director replied that he had heard that only 9 military universities were participating in the competition. 1 university had voluntarily withdrawn. This meant that 1 university would be eliminated during the random selection, a game of chance. The eliminated university would immediately advance to the next round. Subai decided that it was worth hoping that they would not be eliminated during the random selection. The young man hoped to play more matches to earn military points for his beasts. Qingshu asked the director for permission to participate in the competition this time. Other students told the director that they also wanted to participate. The director reassured them that this time, everyone would have a chance to compete. The dice were rolled, and the host announced the pairs. The first pair was Luohe against Fuquan. The university that advanced in this round would go on to the second match. The director said that Subai was indeed their lucky charm. They would skip the first round and go straight to the next one. Instructor La Yuxin said that the young man was lucky and offered to buy him a lottery ticket. Subai was upset because he had missed the round. The host announced the start of the first round of the match. The representative from Fuchuan held on with all his might, while the representative from Luo he continued to attack. 2 hours later, the end of the first round was announced. Next, the results of the second round would be announced. The university that skipped the round was again Jiangzhou. The audience assumed that there was some kind of shady dealings going on. How was this possible? Perhaps Luohe University was afraid of facing Subai and deliberately let them pass. An army representative called for order. After a thorough investigation, it was found that there was no evidence of bias or foul play. The competition continues. Director Zhang Zhou said that was great. They had at least taken third place in the competition. If they won one more match, they would be able to compete in the final. Subai thought, why was there another skip? Why aren't they giving us a chance to compete? An hour later, it was announced that the exciting moment was coming soon. The final match of this round was about to begin. Qingshu was delighted. It was finally their turn. Each of the students wanted to go first. The director asked them to calm down. Even though they were very lucky, they couldn't be overconfident. The director said that Luo Yonghao and Bai Ningbin would go first and second. After them would be Wang Qingqing and Hu Qingshu. Su Bai would go last in the grand final. The students agreed and promised to bring glory to the university. Su Bai thought that he was already exhausted and had no chance. Luo Yonghao went first, trying to defeat his mid-bronze level opponent with his low bronze power. In the end, he almost lost. Bai Ningbin was next. He immediately went into a berserk state, completely abandoning his defense and fighting fearlessly. He constantly forced his opponent to retreat. The victory went to Jiangzhou Military University. Wang Qingqing, the beauty of the university, showed her serious combat skills. It was a soft whip technique that combined offense and defense. She sent her opponent out of the ring. Jiangzhou was winning. Instructor La Yuxin announced that they had won again. The director suddenly felt that the strength of the other students had skyrocketed. Perhaps this Subai had influenced them? Next, Jiangzhou's representative, Hu Qingshu, was called to the ring. He suggested that his opponents come out together to save time. His opponents told Qingshu not to show off, or he would definitely lose. It was announced that the rules of the competition allowed one person to fight several opponents at the same time. The match began. Subai thought, 2 against 1? Qingshu really isn't going to give me a chance. Qingshu apologized to his opponents for his supernatural tree ability. A magical tree appeared in the arena, from which suspicious leaves began to fall under the influence of the wind. The opponents decided to hold on, because the opponent's power was short-lived. Subai was surprised. Could a user of a wood ability really create such a maple tree? Hu Qingshu's power was truly terrifying. The director thought that Qingshu's power had grown again. The student was clearly demonstrating which family he came from. The opponents fended off the leaves and wondered, is this guy not tired yet? Qingshu moved to a new level of attack and activated Breakthrough. The intensity of the falling leaves increased significantly. The opponents were deactivated and fell to the arena floor. It was announced that Jiangzhou Military University had won this round of the competition. The tournament host congratulated Jiangzhou University and Luohe University on advancing to the national finals. The director said that Qingshu had surprised everyone this time. The student thanked the director for his support. The director continued, nevertheless, the real hero of today's competition remains Subai. The young man was surprised. Was the director laughing at him for not being able to appear on stage? The director said that if Subai hadn't secured their passage through 2 rounds in a row, they wouldn't have won so easily. The man told everyone to rest and prepare for the next day. In a week, they would go to the national finals. This time, in addition to the Army Merit Awards that each student would receive at the competition, the university would allocate additional resources as a reward for training. The students were satisfied. Subai thought that this time he was returning empty-handed, and now he needed to figure out where to get the resources to feed his animals. The Lin family estate. Intense training sessions on hand-to-hand combat techniques are underway at the training ground. Lin Yanzan is sparring with interactive androids. The man told the girl that it was time for lunch. The girl replied to Uncle Wenyuan that she was not hungry yet and wanted to practice for another hour. Wenyuan thought that since Subai appeared in the 100 Universities League competition, she had been constantly watching his matches and training like crazy. She completely ignored the balance between work and rest. Lin Yanzhan told her uncle that the pills he had given her earlier were almost gone. Could he ask her father to give her some more? She wanted to increase her strength as soon as possible. Wen Yuan said that many high-ranking families in the imperial capital had proposed marriage to her, but Yanzhan had refused them all. It was unclear what Subai had infected her with. Subai replied that she didn't know herself. 7 days passed. The magical city. The gates of the university were made of pure gold and simply shone. Subai guessed that these gates cost billions of dollars. It was just a waste of money. The director noted that their cost was much higher. The director added that the gates were built in 1 day by 20 gold-level experts and 5 platinum-level experts. One must look at the university's motto and these huge gates. They demonstrate the spirit. Only the strong can protect the race. The representative of the magical city invited students from Jiangzhou Military University and welcomed Director Zhou. It was Zhang Ming, vice president of the university's student assembly. Zhang Ming invited them to follow him. The Jiangzhou delegation thanked him for the warm welcome. The students thought that the military university of the magical city knew exactly how to raise its prestige. Their director had personally made the entire journey, while they had only sent the vice president of the student assembly to meet them. Zhang Ming showed them the training field for practicing weightlessness. It was located in a high-rise building. Subai said that if their university had something like that, they would train at least 100 silver-level students a year. The guests were shown the hotel where they would be staying and having lunch. There was a 24-hour buffet on the first floor. Zhang Ming said that the university provided all the ingredients, meat from ferocious animals of all kinds, and the dishes were prepared by the best chefs. This food helped the fighters restore their blood energy. There were no restrictions on the amount of food. Zhang Ming added that the guests had come a long way, and the university would not allow them to go hungry. They could eat as much as they wanted, within reason. Subai was delighted and said that his beasts were in for a feast. The young man rushed to the buffet. Zhang Ming asked if this student was really that hungry. Qing said that if Subai got there first with his turtle, there would be nothing left for them. The students acknowledged that the competition venue in the magical city was truly on another level. They had only seen such things on television. Director Zhou asked the students not to act as if they had never seen the world before. He wanted to explain the rules of the competition. There are special features of the final round with 30 military universities. The Great Wall Military Academy is under the control of the army and is automatically included in the top 4. There will be no exemptions. The student was surprised why the Great Wall Academy was automatically included in the semi-finals. Everyone agreed that this was unfair. The director explained that it was a training base for military geniuses. It is the only university on the front line of defense against invaders of different races. The students were surprised. Is it really a training base for military geniuses? Subai thought it was very powerful. Director Zhou added that this was why the national finals were full of hidden talents. No one should be underestimated. Subai should be allowed to participate, and Qing Shu should be his support. The host announced that the teachers and students should take their seats. The finals of the competition between hundreds of universities were about to begin. The draw was announced. 3 matches would be held simultaneously. Director Zhou said that luck was on their side. They would not be fighting any of the top 3 in the first round. Subai said he wanted to go first so that all the universities would know how strong their university was. His opponent said that Jiangzhou made it to the finals, which is already amazing. However, that's where it will end. Subai opened his backpack and asked Xiaoba to hurry up and finish it. The turtle grew in size and took up a significant part of the arena. The audience was surprised. Did Jiangzhou University really send a tamer to the competition? Why did he bring a turtle? The opponent saw the turtle and said it was too big. This was cheating. He did not agree to this. Subai was surprised. Was his opponent really that weak? He hadn't even started eating the peanuts. Stunned, the opponent believed that tamers should be weak, but they were so easily controlled by martial arts. The audience noted that this was the national final, and Subai brought a small stool. This was definitely disrespectful. The audience said that this turtle had insane defense and strength, and was definitely silver level. Now, a rival with a metal glove on her hand entered the arena. She said that Jiangzhou University should know them. The girl rushed to attack the protagonist and said that he would pay for everything. Subai was looking at comics on his smartphone at the time and did not react. Xiaoba began to spew flames from his mouth and literally blew the girl off the arena. She never reached her goal. The judge declared Jiangzhou University the winner. A colleague said in surprise that this guy not only ate peanuts, but also brought a stool. The director noted that Subai really didn't know how to keep a low profile. How could he humiliate his opponents like that? Director Zhou wondered how he could look the Yokohama University leadership in the eye after this. Qingshu said that it was too early to rejoice. Soon, Subai would face a real test. He would compete against the captain of the Imperial Capital University team. A powerful warrior who had never been defeated would face this captain. However, the fight was short, and the referee declared the Imperial Capital Military University the winner. The young man apologized to his opponent for hitting him too hard. Director Zhou noted that this fighter uses fire and is at the top of the silver level. The student said that a silver level fighter who uses fire is a terrifying force from the Imperial Capital University. Qingshu noted that if the Great Wall Academy did not enter the fight, only the Magic City University would be able to compete with him. After another battle, the judge declared Su Bai, representative of Jiangzhou University, the winner. Wang Mingkun, a silver-level fighter, said he would force Jiangzhou to fight alone against 5 opponents. University director Luo, he told Mingkun to use his speed to win, rather than face the turtle head-on. Mingkun replied that the director should not worry. Mingkun acknowledged that luck was on Su Bai's side in the previous round. But this time, Jiangzhou University would be less fortunate. Su Bai noted that he was facing a silver-level military ability user in the arena. However, this did not change anything, and the young man told Xiaoba to attack his opponent. Mingkun said that Su Bai would now feel the power of the wind and see the might of the silver level. The team captain used his unique abilities. Mingkun jumped high and declared that he would definitely destroy this boy now. Su Bai thought that the wind was preventing him from eating. Mingkun continued to approach, escalating the situation, and said that his opponent's defeat would be quick. After a strong wind picked up, the arena was covered in dust. Visibility was 0. Mingkun apologized for the overly powerful blow and advised his opponent to rest or seek medical attention. However, when the dust cleared, Su Bai appeared. He continued drinking soda as if nothing had happened and asked what Mingkun had just said. Mingkun was surprised. Did Su Bai really know about merging streams? How was that possible? Could anyone have mastered Luo Feng's divine technique? Su Bai asked. Was the user of the wind ability confident in his speed? Su Bai opened his backpack and ordered Xiaobai to return. The turtle reduced its energy component and hid in the backpack. Instead of the turtle, Xiaobai, a white fluffy cat, entered the arena. The protagonist said that Xiaobai's moment of glory had arrived. The cat stretched after being in the cramped backpack. Mingkun laughed loudly. Did Su Bai really bring his pet cat with him? His teammates were surprised. What was Su Bai doing? Was he mocking his opponent again? First a small stool, then a can of soda, and now he had even brought a pet to mock him. Qingshu asked in surprise, was it from work? After all, the opponents used the power of wind. The director suggested not to rush. This was no ordinary cat. Mingkun demanded that Su Bai return the turtle to the arena. The protagonist advised Xiaobai not to hit too hard. This was just a match, not a battlefield. Xiaobai roared loudly, and an energy image of incredible size appeared behind him. Mingkun was forced to cover his ears with his hands so as not to hear the roar. Mingkun looked around and glanced at the audience. Did it seem to him that everyone really saw the huge energy image and heard the loud roar? Xiaobai had indeed grown in size and lunged at his opponent. The audience noted that this was not a domestic cat. It was a huge white tiger. Even in a zoo, you don't see tigers this big. Qingshu noted that this tiger was Su Bai's second tamed animal. The student was surprised. How was this possible? Even a silver-level tamer would find it difficult to tame a second animal. Director Zhou suggested that this young man had many more secrets that they did not yet know about. At one point, Xiaobai appeared behind Mingkun. The young man thought, could the beast have disappeared, leaving only its image behind? How could a white tiger be so fast? Mingkun looked around, but Xiaobai, moving quickly, managed to stay out of his opponent's field of vision. Mingkun decided to ignore the white tiger. He said he would win as soon as he defeated Su Bai himself. Mingkun accelerated, gained increased speed, and declared that Su Bai would now be destroyed. However, a huge beast appeared between the opponents and blocked Mingkun's path. Mingkun thought this was impossible. He didn't have time to think any further. The huge beast deactivated him, and he flew far back. The audience saw a huge white tiger on the monitors. The judge announced that Jiangzhou University had won. The stands were stunned again. Subai had defeated such a strong opponent. A mid-level bronze fighter had defeated the captain of a prestigious silver-level university, practically surpassing him. The audience felt that the white tiger was even more ferocious than the turtle. What kind of beast was this? The audience chanted the protagonist's name and claimed that he was the true winner. The judges were also surprised. They had never heard of Suba before. What year is he in at Jiangzhou University? Even the leading students from the capital's elite universities are not that strong. The judge noted that this year, Jiangzhou Military University had produced a real monster. This university would definitely rise in prestige right now. In the recreation hall of the Military University of the Imperial Capital, the observers admitted that the guy from Luo, he looked very weak. However, this country bumpkin brought 2 animals with him and even fed them in the cafeteria. The students said that if they encountered him, they would not let him go so easily. Team captain Cao Zixuan noted that Subai was too aggressive. If he made it to the semi-finals, he would not get off so easily. The students agreed. The team captain was right. This country bumpkin needed to be taught a lesson. The referee announced that Subai from Jiangzhou University had won. In the next fight, the protagonist and the white tiger also emerged victorious. The audience congratulated Jiangzhou University on reaching the semi-finals, shouting Subai in unison. Director Zhou looked up and said that heaven sees everything. Their military university had finally made it into the top 4. Colleagues congratulated the team captain. Thanks to this young man, Jiangzhou University was now at the top. Now no one would dare to look down on them. The director announced that Subai had indeed not let him down. The young man was the best representative of the university. Subai acknowledged that it was his duty. Mr. Zhou said that their mission to break into the top 4 had been accomplished. This would be the most glorious page in the history of Jiangzhou. The students' contribution would be generously rewarded. Subai objected to the director. There were still 4 major matches left. What did he mean by their mission being accomplished? The young man thought. Was the director planning to spend billions for the sake of victory? This was unacceptable. The principal explained that their goal was to secure a place in the top 6, and reaching the top 4 had already been achieved. Surely Subai wasn't thinking of battling the top 3 universities. Qingshu was also surprised. Is Subai really going to fight the top 3 universities? The protagonist asked, why not? Subai suggested that the director take a look at the Modu Military University. The gates alone cost nearly 2 billion. The young man added that their university had entered the top 4, but still did not dare to be so extravagant. Subai stated that, in his opinion, Jiangzhou should take first place and rebuild the university gates. They cannot disappoint the expectations of their people. They must fight for first place. Qingshu agreed. Subai must not give up. He added that Subai's performance made him worthy of the title of captain, and he would cope with the best matches. The director said that the students' enthusiasm and courage were commendable. However, now it was necessary to rest and prepare for the next matches for the title of the best. They would fight for first place. Mr. Zhou thought that these students were still very young and impulsive. They really want to compete with the 3 best universities, the supreme military command of the Dragon Nation. The final of the League of 100 Universities is about to begin. It is expected to end in 2 days. The spokesperson reported that the army's preparations for a counterattack against the myriad races were complete. The front lines were assembled and ready to launch a counteroffensive at any moment. The marshal said that was excellent. As soon as the League of 100 Universities ends, the counterattack against the myriad races will officially begin. All students must go to the battlefield and fight. Representatives of the military command jumped up from their seats and declared in unison that they would fight to avenge the tens of thousands of students and teachers who had died. Those who oppressed the dragon race would sooner or later receive their deserved punishment. The next morning arrived. Hotel Modu. As always at this time of day, the protagonist meditated in the lotus position in front of the great philosopher's book. The tamed animals, as usual, ate their food. Subai decided he was ready and activated the sacred animal weapon. But something incredible happened. Subai found himself next to the food bowl instead of the turtle, and the turtle took the young man's place on the sofa. Subai was surprised. Had something gone wrong? However, the system reported that the young man had successfully received the exclusive talent of an animal tamer, teleportation. Now the tamer and the tamed animal could switch places, bypassing all restrictions. Subai realized that he and Xiaoba had not just switched places for no reason. The teleportation effect had worked. But what kind of skill was this? The turtle also felt confused, occasionally glancing at its plate. Subai put the animals in his backpack and thought that the new skills wouldn't hurt him. They could lead to unexpected effects on the battlefield. The protagonists called on their tamed beasts to fight against the 3 best universities. The host announced to the audience that after a day of intense battles, the League of 100 Universities had finally reached the level of competition of the top 4. Now, the Great Wall Military Academy would be presented and take the stage. The Great Wall Military Academy was originally a military base for the Great Wall Guards, founded in 1907, and was one of the first military bases built on the battlefield of the Myriad Races. Over the 94 years of its history, the Myriad Races have launched hundreds of campaigns against the Great Wall Military Academy, but the students and teachers have fought back, destroying countless Myriad Races animals and powerful warriors. The motto of the Great Wall Military Academy is, "As long as the Myriad Races exist, the wall will never fall." Currently, the strongest man, the only royal-level expert, Mr. Nie Qing, is the respected director of the Great Wall Guards. Therefore, the powerful Myriad Races do not dare to invade the territory of the Great Wall Military Academy. Royal-level expert Nie Qing is the stronghold of the human race. For Jiangzhou Military University, fighting against the Great Wall is already an honor. The host said that the competition between the top 4 was about to begin and announced the results of the draw. First match, Great Wall Military Academy vs. Capital Military University. Second match, Modu Military University vs. Jiangzhou University. Zhao Jiaxuan, captain of the Modu University team, said that this was very boring. He wouldn't even bat an eye fighting against such weaklings. His colleague added, "Their opponent is Jiangzhou University. It's a real dump. Winning against them won't be considered outstanding. This university is a troublemaker. How did they even deserve a place in the top 4? The judge announced that the first to take the stage from the Great Wall Military Academy would be their captain, Han Zhan. He is a lord-level expert, the grandson of General Han Dan. His purple and gold armor is forged from diamond-level cores. Han Zhan urged them not to waste time and to deal with Wang Yan themselves. Would the captain of the Capital University dare to fight him? The captain of the Capital Military University, Wang Yan, asked, "Why is Old Man Han making such a big deal out of this?" Director Zhou noted that Han Zhan versus Wang Yan was a tense match from the very beginning. Subai told his colleague that Luo would go first and show what he was made of. Luo tensed up. Could he really do it? Han Zhan took the stance of a confident fighter and declared that he was ready to begin. He also gave his opponent the right to make the first move. Wang Yan declared that in that case he would not back down and attacked his opponent. He circled around the warrior in diamond armor, striking from all sides. Wang Yan was not intimidated by his opponent's extremely powerful blood energy and sharp weapons. Director Zhou said that Wang Yan was an extreme-level fighter. With the wind blowing, his figure was almost invisible. Subai was surprised. Was this really the power of an intermediate silver level? The judges recognized Han Zhan's strike as sky-splitting. 3 years ago, he used this strike to destroy a diamond-level enemy. The power was so great that it even forced Wang Yan to stop. The host said that Han Zhan had indeed used an extreme attack skill with control. It was simply incredible. His colleague added, "It was magnificent." Han Zhan had carefully thought out his tactics. He was truly worthy of being the #1 military commander. Wang Yan showed top-class skill, spinning his weapon in his hands. He continuously delivered stabbing and slashing blows to his opponent. However, Han Zhan delivered a straight strike, and Wang Yan lost. The audience agreed that it was too cruel. Wang Yan was forced to admit that Han Zhan was magnificent in this battle. He also conceded defeat. The host announced that the first round of the battle between the top 4 had ended with a victory for the Great Wall Military Academy. The audience agreed that the Great Wall Military Academy was indeed very strong. Director Zhou asked Luo Yongqian if he was ready to show what he was capable of. The student replied that he was ready. Luo Yongqian stepped into the middle of the arena and said he was ready. The director reminded him that their goal was to give everyone a chance to participate. If he couldn't handle it, he should just admit defeat and not put too much pressure on himself. The student assured the director that he would not disgrace Jiangzhou University. His opponent, Zheng Leiqiao, entered the arena. The host announced the start of the second round. Zheng Leiqiao noted that it would be fun. Leiqiao asked his opponent how he wanted to be played. Luo Yongqian was taciturn and attacked his opponent with a blow from his two-handed sword. Lei Qiao remained on his feet and asked, "Is that all?" Lei Qiao struck his opponent several times and found himself out of his reach. After a short fight, Luo Yongqian was struggling to stay on his feet. His body was covered in bruises and cuts. Lei Qiao asked what words were carved on his opponent's body. Luo Yongqian gathered his strength and attacked his opponent again. Lei Qiao dodged and said he was ready to have some fun again. Qing Shu told the director that this was too much and outright humiliation. The student suggested allowing Luo Yongqian to surrender. Su Bai said that this should not be done now. Yongqian was defending his dignity and the dignity of Jiangzhou University. Lei Qiao said that if Yongqian didn't admit defeat, it would be even worse. Wasn't he afraid? Yongqian replied that Jiangzhou Military University would never admit defeat. Lei Qiao hit his opponent in the chest and asked if he still didn't know defeat. Lei Qiao said that it was very amusing. He wondered how long his opponent would last. It would be better to just accept defeat. Yongqian continued to take blows, but insisted that he would not give up. Completely exhausted and unconscious, Yongqian fell face down on the ground. The audience shouted that Lei Qiao had no humanity. It was too cruel. The referee announced that Modu University had won the first round. Su Bai said that Modu University had gone too far. Bai Ningbin said that now it was his turn. He would not allow this guy to behave so arrogantly. Director Zhou advised Ningbin to be careful and not to fight recklessly. Lei Qiao was delighted. Had another contender arrived? Ningbin said that Lei Qiao was too talkative for a fighter. The second round began. Ningbin immediately rushed into the attack and shouted that he would take his opponent's life. However, Lei Qiao dodged effectively and noted that his opponent was acting too confident. Ningbin attacked continuously, while Lei Qiao continued to defend himself effectively and repeated that he would not give his opponent a single chance. The audience believed that a draw should be declared. If they continued to fight for so long, they could die. Even hundreds of meters away, the smell of battle could be felt. It was terrible. Lei Qiao asked in surprise, "Was Ningbin really that desperate?" Lei Qiao grabbed his opponent from behind and put his sword to his neck. Ningbin managed to block the attack. Lei Qiao said that in the end, his opponent was just bronze-level trash from a nameless military university. Lei Qiao added that his opponent had lost. Ningbin objected, saying he did not agree with that statement. Ningbin reminded him that Jiangzhou Military University never admits defeat. After that, he stabbed himself and his opponent behind him with his sword. Lei Qiao was frightened and asked if Ningbin was crazy. Where did he get such methods? Ningbin replied that destroying Lei Qiao was goal enough. That was how Jiangzhou fighters fought. Lei Qiao shouted that he did not want to die. He had not agreed to this, and asked his director for help. The director immediately appeared in the arena and declared that Modu Military University conceded defeat in this round. The hosts repeated these words in surprise. In this round, the Modu Military University admits defeat. Director Zhou also jumped into the arena and rushed to his student Ningbin. Director Zhou said that the students of Modu University were behaving inappropriately. They humiliated their opponents in the arena, and when faced with the threat of death, they began to beg for mercy. The director of the rival organization told Old Man Jiang not to think that just because their Jiangzhou University had made it into the top 4, they had the right to challenge Modu. At that moment, a representative of the medical service appeared in the arena. Director Zhou noted that the lives of their fighters are also valuable. The opponent said that words are no longer needed. They will settle it in battle. Zhu Qiang shouted for student Su Bai to enter the arena and make the opponents pay for this. The young man must show what it means to mess with Jiangzhou. Su Bai, warming up his hands, said that the director could count on him. He would make the opponents pay dearly. Director Zhou noted that student Ningbin had brought glory to Jiangzhou University. Future generations would not forget him. Qingqing took the young man by the hand and said that they were proud of him. The main thing was for Ningbin to recover. Su Bai would definitely teach his opponents a lesson. Jia Xuan asked the director for permission to enter the arena. He was ready to wipe out this trash from Jiangzhou. The director told the young man not to rush. The final battle was still ahead. The protagonist stepped into the middle of the arena and declared that he was challenging the Modu Military University to a fight. Would they have the courage to accept the challenge? The audience shouted that they would make Modu apologize for such behavior. Su Bai must put his opponents in their place. Zixuan was surprised. Did Jiangzhou even deserve an apology? Huang Sheng told the director that he was ready to go out and teach them a lesson. Their rivals had to learn the difference between them. The director agreed, and said that Huang Sheng would go out this time. Subai asked his opponent if he had come to apologize. Huang Sheng replied that only weaklings ask for apologies. Why should the strong apologize to the weak? Strength is truth. Power is truth. Subai agreed that this was well said, and suggested that the host put forward another fighter for the opponents. Fighting one-on-one takes too long, and he doesn't have the time. Subai looked at the director of Modu University, pointed his finger down, and told the opponents to come up here. The director was surprised. Since when did Jiangzhou University dare to provoke Modu? The director told Zixuan to show with force that Modu's honor could not be trampled on. Zixuan appeared in the middle of the arena next to Huang Sheng, and said that if Jiangzhou University was so arrogant, he was ready to fulfill their wish. Captain Zixuan added that he would now show that barking without strength was simply self-humiliation. The judges noticed Cao Jiashuan's double swords, 1,000-year-old cold iron and molten lava iron. Were these swords really forged from such rare materials? The handles contained platinum cores from powerful creatures. The judge noted that the Cao family and Modu University were truly willing to invest in this young man. Each sword was worth a fortune. Another judge noted that the fire and ice battle god had graduated from Modu Military University and left behind his most powerful technique. Could Cao Zixuan really have mastered it? Zixuan told Subai not to say later that they had intimidated him. He could summon his beast, otherwise the young man would not stand a chance. Subai thanked him for his kindness. The protagonist declared that he did not need a beast to deal with these two opponents. At the same time, he began to radiate increased energy. Huang Sheng was surprised. Had the beast tamer decided to fight without a beast? Did this guy dare to come against them with his bare hands? His colleagues were surprised that Subai wasn't using his beast. Director Zhou guessed that Subai had activated synchronization with the source and called him a trickster. Zixuan became angry and called his opponent presumptuous. However, with this action, he had simply signed his own death warrant. Huang Sheng added that the weak must know their place. Subai activated the spirit of sharp metal and the ghost of sharp metal. The protagonist also activated the possession of the spirit of earth. Subai took an aggressive stance and said it was time to settle the score with Modu University. Zixuan guessed Subai's abilities from his appearance and asked in surprise how this was possible. Qingshu noticed that this guy's speed had already reached the gold rank. How could the body of a beast tamer be so strong? Qingqing reminded him how strong Luo Feng's was when he achieved synchronization with the source. Qingshu was surprised. Could Subai really compare to Luo Feng? Subai asked Zixuan if he had ever felt helpless. Zixuan acknowledged that his opponent deserved his respect, but that was all. Team Modu's captain continued to swing his exclusive swords. Zixuan attacked his opponent and declared that he would be destroyed. Subai didn't even flinch and asked if that was all Zixuan was capable of. Subai effectively dodged the attack and declared that his opponent was still too slow. Huang Sheng suggested that the captain surround his opponent. Subai did not wait for the encirclement and delivered a series of powerful blows to Huang Sheng's body and face. His opponent was deactivated and fell to the ground. Subai said that these 7 blows were in response to the 7 wounds that Yang Hao had received. Subai looked back and saw Zixuan approaching him. The protagonist said that this was great because he hadn't finished having fun yet. Zixuan continued to swing his swords, trying to intimidate his opponent. Subai said that it was a complete disappointment. Was this all that the genius of Modu Military University was capable of? Subai knocked his opponent far away with a punch and said that they were too weak to stand up to Jiangzhou University. Subai continued to attack and asked why this genius wasn't responding. Was Jia Xuan just going to take the blows? Subai punched his opponent again and said that he was getting bored. Zixuan managed to block the blows at the last moment by putting his swords in the way. In the end, Zixuan was defeated anyway. He found himself lying on his back. Subai stepped on his head and added that he liked to beat up guys like him. Zixuan was forced to initiate an explosion and, seizing the moment, jumped aside. Subai noted that his opponent lacked skill, but his attitude was impressive. Zixuan once again shouted loudly that he would destroy Subai. The student informed the principal that Zixuan was using a very dangerous technique. Had Subai overstepped his authority with his taunts? This could be dangerous. The principal suggested that Zixuan might have lost control of himself. Zixuan, exuding excessive energy, shouted again that he would take his opponent's life and jumped high to strike. Subai noticed that something interesting had finally appeared. Zixuan approached his opponent and declared that it was impossible to defend against his swords. Was Subai a turtle in his past life? Subai asked his opponent if that was the limit of his power and attacked. The judge noted that Subai possessed a terrifying technique. This fight even destroyed the gold-level arena. This is truly the power of the primordial flow. Looking at Subai, one is reminded of Luo Feng in his prime, and this is only the average bronze level. His talent is perhaps even more frightening than that of those from elite families. Subai approached his opponent's swords and said that they looked quite valuable. Zixuan objected that it was unfair and urged his opponent to put the swords back. Subai ignored the request and said that, judging by the behavior of Manhwa University, they were definitely not going to apologize or compensate for the damage. In that case, these two swords would serve as compensation. Zixuan shouted that this was too much and rushed at his opponent again with an indomitable desire to destroy him. Subai stepped aside and asked if Zixuan had enough strength left. His opponent rushed past him. Subai said that the captain of the Manhwa team was greatly overestimating himself. Our hero put his knee forward, and Zixuan's face met it. As a result of the collision, Zixuan was forced to fly far back, losing drops of blood in the process. Subai continued his attack and asked how Zixuan dared to mock his university friends. Our hero delivered a series of crushing blows to various parts of his opponent's body, and said that this was punishment for his unworthy behavior. The host announced that Zhengzhou University had won this round by a landslide. Zixuan showed with his whole demeanor that he was not ready to continue the confrontation. Subai looked away and wondered why Hanzhan was staring at him so intently. He had been watching him from the beginning, like a hawk. Our hero stared back at him. Hanzhan smiled and said that he would look forward to meeting Subai from Zhengzhou University. Subai held the trophy swords in his hands and thought that they must be worth a lot if Zixuan was so nervous. The director of Manhwa University told the young man to stop. The man declared the fight over and demanded that Subai return the weapons to Manhwa Military University. Subai pointed out that the referee had said that the arena was a battlefield and that weapons captured on the field were not subject to return. They were legitimate trophies. The protagonist noted that he was not without a man. If Manhwa University compensated for medical expenses and moral damage, he was willing to return the swords. The audience supported this decision. The Manhwa Military University had gone too far and should apologize. Subai asked the director if this was the survival of the fittest philosophy that the people at Manhwa University believed in so strongly. The director said that this was outrageous. Subai remarked that he was treating them the same way Manhwa University treated others. Director Zhangzhou said that Subai was a good man. How would Manhwa get out of this now? Would they dare to turn up their noses again? The director of Manhwa Military University, a diamond-level master, said he would teach this insolent boy a lesson. Zhangzhou shouted that things could end badly and that Subai should immediately step aside. The director of the military university, a diamond-level master, said that Director Manhwa was prepared to go against a student. This was outrageous. Subai realized that he was facing the explosive power of a diamond-level warrior. How could he deal with this? Mr. Zhangzhou stood in front of his student and prepared to protect him with his body. Director Manhwa shouted that this was a magical city and that Manhwa was autonomous here. The military university should not interfere. Zhangzhou declared that if Manhwa touched his student even with a finger, he was ready to fight the director for real. Zhao Yi, a lord-level expert, appeared above the opponents. He was 6th in the rankings. Elder Zhao sat down on the ground and said that he had not been at the military university for several years. But now he saw chaos. How dare Director Manhwa attack a junior? And after that, he has the audacity to call himself a director. Elder Zhao said that he had watched the fights and noted that the young man from Zhangzhou University was very strong. On behalf of the military university, he apologized to all the fighters. Elder Zhao noted that the motto of the military university is, "The strong remain strong, and only in this way can the country be defended." A true warrior must be like Lu Feng, possess absolute power, and use it to protect the world. He added that over the years, the military university has lost sight of its main task, to train real fighters. And this is a serious mistake. The defeat of the military university of Manhwa before Zhangzhou in this duel is indisputable. These two swords will remain with Subai. Elder Zhao said that Director Manhwa is too hot-headed and impatient, and he is not worthy of the title of director of the military university. His place is among the instructors. Subai noted that he had learned a valuable lesson. The host said that the arena would be restored, and the grand final would take place in an hour. Qingshu acknowledged that Subai had done an excellent job, and brought glory to their university. His colleague added that they were proud of the student. Subai said that he should not be overpraised. There was a moment when he was very scared. Director Zhou acknowledged that their university had made a serious statement about itself. Qingshu noted that next they would face the Great Wall Military University, where Hanzhan would be, and his strength was unfathomable. The director noted that just reaching the finals was much more than they had expected. Subai told the director that he had no reason to rest. Today he brought glory to the university. Maybe he deserved a small reward for that? Mr. Zhang Zhou said that he had 2 high-level silver beast cores as a personal gift for the young man. Subai promised to give it his all. The host announced that the long-awaited final of the League of 100 Universities was officially beginning. Everyone saw the clear favorite on the screen, Hanzhan. Hanzhan said that he had been waiting to meet Subai for a long time. He proposed a single battle to decide the outcome. Subai agreed. Hanzhan rushed at his opponent and told Subai not to stand still and to take the initiative. He must fight like a true warrior. Subai said that he was in no hurry, but he was ready to show his strength. Our hero began to circle around his opponent and encourage him to attack. Hanzhan must show his full power. So far, he has only been able to dodge and avoid all blows. Subai suggested that Hanzhan was clearly holding back in his fight with Wan Yang. The judges were surprised. When Hanzhan fought last time, he was not so fast. He deliberately hid his true speed. It seemed that speed was his weakness. Now it is clear that Hanzhan has no weaknesses in either speed or defense. Among the younger generation, Hanzhan was truly an unstoppable force. It was impossible to defeat him unless someone of a completely different level crushed him. It seemed that Zhangzhou University would have to settle for second place. Subai was clearly no match for Hanzhan. Subai thought that, as expected of a warrior who had fought many battles against other races, this opponent had no weaknesses. Subai declared that in any case, Hanzhan would not be able to dodge his next blow. This guy would have to feel the ominous attack. The protagonist struck with his fist at the most vulnerable spot. The bells were damaged. Hanzhan was surprised. Had Subai really decided to use such a low blow? Subai reminded him that this was a battlefield. Subai rushed into the attack again and said that the enemy must be finished off when he is weakened. Hanzhan gathered his strength, concentrated, and said that he would now give it his all. He had gathered enough data, and now it would be clear whether Subai could dodge his blow. Subai said that if he couldn't dodge, then they would see who was stronger. The judges were surprised. Did Hanzhan really know this technique? It was General Han's signature fighting style. 3 years ago, when General Han used this strike, he destroyed thousands of ferocious beasts in the blink of an eye. Among them were even 1 diamond-ranked and 3 platinum-ranked beasts. After the powerful blow, Subai admitted that Hanzhan was really giving it his all. Hanzhan demanded that his opponent show all his strength. Subai couldn't be such a weakling. Qingshu was surprised. Was Subai really losing now? The director agreed that no one could withstand such a powerful blow. Subai said that Hanzhan had left him no choice. At the same time, the young man unzipped his backpack. Subai summoned his beasts, a white cat and a green turtle. He said they needed help to defeat his opponent. 2 huge beasts appeared before Hanzhan. The warrior said that Subai had finally shown his true strength. Subai moved to attack and said that now Hanzhan would definitely be destroyed. The beasts were aggressive. Hanzhan thrust his sword forward and repelled his opponent's fierce attack. As a result of the crushing attack, the warrior's armor was destroyed. However, he had no intention of giving up. Subai told Hanzhan to stop torturing himself and admitted defeat. Hanzhan said that he did not want to use this technique because he still could not fully control this power. However, now he had no other choice. Subai was surprised. Was this really just a gold-ranked battle? What terrifying power Hanzhan possessed. At that moment, the system reported an extreme danger. Hanzhan said that Subai was doomed to defeat in this round. Hanzhan added that his opponent would never be able to withstand this decisive blow. Subai was ready to admit that he might not survive such a blow. A powerful energy charge crashed down on the protagonist. Having withstood this onslaught, our hero told Subai to attack immediately, as his opponent was already exhausted. The judges were surprised. Had spatial power been activated? But this power was only available at the platinum level. Was Subai definitely at the bronze level? It must have been the result of synchronization with the source. The judge said that the displacement technique was a heavenly level ability, and Subai had managed to change it. Was his talent comparable to the great Luo Fan? The audience did not understand what was going on. Was this really the Gold Rank League? Were these opponents trying to destroy the military university of the Magic City? Subai seized the moment and deactivated his opponent. He admitted that Hanzhan was indeed a true monster. Hanzhan was forced to admit that Subai had won this time. The host announced the absolute champion of this league, a student from Zhangzhou Military University. It was Subai. His colleagues shouted that it was unbelievable. Director Zhou said that he had not been mistaken about this student. Lin Yanzhan also acknowledged that Subai was the best. The audience shouted loudly and repeated our hero's name. Everyone in the protagonist's family celebrated the victory. Xiaomei shouted that her brother was a true champion. His parents were moved to tears when they learned that their son had become a champion and a national hero. Journalists lined up to interview Mr. Subai. Did the champion say anything to his opponent in the final? The director demanded that everyone step aside as the young man needed to rest. All questions would be answered later. The director told the young man to return to the hotel and rest. He would deal with the rest himself. After this battle, Subai truly became the national champion. All the awards belonged to him. Subai asked how many awards there were. The director said about 600 million. Military Hotel of the Magic City. Military Report of the Dragon Empire. The 100 Universities League has recently come to an end. At this tournament, students from military universities demonstrated their outstanding abilities to the whole world. The main star was the absolute champion of the league, Subai from Jiangzhou Military University. The military command decided to award the young man with a first-degree medal, the Great Wall Honorary Order, and a military bonus of 60,000. The leadership hopes that other students from military universities will follow this young man's example, regardless of the strength of the enemy. They will fight to the last. Jiangzhou University is expected to soon become the main national base for training beast tamers and ability carriers. The audience acknowledged that this young man was a true phenomenon. He single-handedly defeated all the leading military universities. However, he was injured and almost lost consciousness. Where is he now? Subai woke up, stretched, and asked how long he had been asleep. A girl appeared in the room with breakfast in her hands and said, "Finally, Subai is awake. The director ordered us not to wake you up." Subai asked what Manny was doing there. The girl said she was following the director's orders. She had to wait until the young man woke up. Now they were returning to Jiangzhou. The car was already waiting downstairs. Subai took his clothes and said he would get ready and be ready to return. However, before they returned, he wanted to take his animals to the Magic Military Restaurant and throw them a feast. Manny noticed that the Magic University was going through difficult times this time. Subai returned to Jiangzhou University. The young man was asked if he liked the gates of the Magic Military University. This year, they had 50 billion in funding. The hero returned in triumph. The gates were once again more impressive than those of the Magic Military University. The best universities should look dignified. The director reminded everyone that this year, Jiangzhou University had won a crushing victory in the League of Hundreds of Universities, which was a historic achievement. Next, the floor was given to the team captain, the best fighter of the tournament, Subai. The young man stated that there are no unbreakable legends. No matter how strong the opponent is, if you don't give up, you can defeat anyone. The director added that thanks to this victory, the state had increased funding for the university. Subai acknowledged that the main difference between them and the leading universities was the resources available for development. The protagonist suggested hiring alchemists to create elixirs. This would allow them to bridge the gap in resources for cultivating students. The young man expressed his hope that in the future, everyone would work together to elevate Jiangzhou. The director said that when the young man first received the Great Wall Gold Medal, he already knew that Subai would become a great man in the future. The young man noted that he was doing his duty and reminded the director that he still owed him $500 million. The director said that the young man must have made a mistake. Subai was indignant because he had brought the university 50 billion in profits. $500 million was nothing compared to that. The director said that the young man was indeed brave to say such a thing. The most he could offer was 100 million. He added that he would transfer 10,000 military credits to the young man, which could be exchanged for resources. Subai remarked that the director thought he was a beggar, but he had shed blood for the university. The director kicked the young man out of his office. Subai called the director a heartless old man. Had he forgotten who had elevated this university? Mr. Zhou suggested that the student take a break. Subai thought that a smart person knows how to wait. 100 million is also money, and it must be taken. It should be enough for the time being. At the entrance to the dormitory, the girls asked if Subai lived there. They wanted to see him. The administrator said it was a mistake. The champion was not there at the moment. Subai was resting in his dorm room. At that time, the tamed animals were consuming resources. The young man told them to move more slowly so they wouldn't choke. These words were ignored. Subai said that the cat and the turtle had performed well in the league. They should continue in the same vein. The protagonist noticed that Xiaobai had risen to the silver level. The money had not been wasted. It was necessary to continue in the same vein. After a while, Xiaobai's level also rose. The animals had a good appetite. Subai said that Han Zhan had trained until he was 20 and had only reached the silver level. However, thanks to these animals, he had risen very quickly. Suddenly, a young man ran into the dorm room and exclaimed that Subai was his god. The protagonist asked Jiagan what had happened. Jiagan said that he had awakened his ability. Now he was a proud and powerful beast tamer. Jiagong took a turtle out of his backpack and asked Subai to look at it. Jiagang said that his old man was very happy when he learned about the awakening of the beast tamer's power. He insisted on spending a lot of money to hire someone to capture an exotic bronze-level beast. But what potential could a bronze beast have? Jia Gong declared that if you were going to tame a beast, it had to be a turtle. Anyone who didn't have a turtle wasn't a real beast tamer. Subai wanted to tell Jia Gan that not all turtles are the same. However, the system announced that a new talent, Dominion, had been activated. Now the young man could use the blood of sacred beasts to help those who sincerely admired and subconsciously desired to become beast tamers. By awakening their abilities, the tamed beasts would receive the blood of sacred beasts and become their descendants. Jiagong wondered why Subai now looked even more excited. Subai agreed. If you're going to tame a beast, it has to be a turtle. Anyone who doesn't have a turtle isn't a real beast tamer. Jiangzhou Military University. Many students came here to train as beast tamers. Now this university is one of the best educational institutions. Everyone wanted to study with Subai. The girl asked the students to calm down. If they chose this university for further education, they were welcome here. Now everyone could release their tamed animals. The young man took his green turtle out of his backpack, setting an example for the others. The girl was surprised. Did everyone really have turtles? Was this an entrance exam or a gathering of turtle lovers? The girl asked if Ho Guan was really a tamer. The young man confirmed this and presented his tamed animal. The girl noticed that the student had zero mental energy. He was just a warrior with strong chi and blood. This animal was an ordinary wild soft-shelled turtle from the market. The women from the admissions committee examined all the candidates and were even more surprised. Each of them claimed to be a beast tamer and wanted to be admitted to the beast taming department. They all wanted to be in the same class as Subai. At that moment, the protagonist was walking past the students. He wondered why there were suddenly so many turtles at the school. One student turned around and recognized the young man. It was Subai. A moment later, Subai was forced to speed up and run away from the students who were chasing him. Everyone demanded that he help them get into this department, because each of them had a talent for animal taming. Subai wondered why there were suddenly so many of them. Military conference room on the front line. The speaker reported that according to intelligence, the myriad races had detected their movements. They had sent 13 clans, including the Ghost Cat clan, the Six-Eared Demon Wolf clan, and the Brown Bear clan, to gather forces near this base. The exact situation was still unclear. The marshal stated that the myriad races had begun to act on a larger scale. Whatever their goal, it was necessary to strike first. The order had already been given. 3 fighters from the current 100 Universities League would be sent to the Bishwe Reservoir for reconnaissance. The officer reminded him that this is a restricted area. Is the marshal really prepared to send students from the 100 Universities League there? They are not even graduates yet. It is too dangerous. The military advisor suggested that Mr. Neichin reconsider his decision. The marshal noted that the warriors of this nation and the students would sooner or later face the myriad races on the battlefield. He was confident that the students would accomplish their mission. Moreover, as long as he held the defense here, the royal forces of the myriad races would not dare to act recklessly. This made the reconnaissance mission critically important. The order must be carried out. Subai burst into the room and said that trouble had struck. The school was turning into a turtle breeding company. The headmaster noted that this student had arrived just in time. The director announced that the head of the Tao family, Cao Ming, was present. He had come today specifically to discuss with the young man the return of the Cao family's divine weapons. Also present were the honored guests, members of the Cao family. The young man was surprised. Did they really want to take Cao Zixuan's swords back? After all, the director of the Military Magic University had said that they were a gift. The honored guests declared that this was very presumptuous. These two divine weapons belonged to their Tao family. They would not have discussed this if Elder Zhao had not intervened. The honored guests assured him that they had come with sincere intentions and wanted to buy the weapons back. Why was the young man behaving this way? The director was surprised. Had these people decided to bang their fists on the tables at Jiangzhou University? Mr. Zhou stood up and said that these people were at Jiangzhou Military University, not in their capital of magic. Only Su Bai himself could decide whether to sell the weapons and at what price. The head of the Cao family told Su Bai not to worry and asked him to state his terms. Su Bai said that these two swords had been very useful to him recently. Mrs. Cao noted that in the future, they would all have to go to battle against the myriad races. Strengthening their power was the most reasonable choice. Instead of holding on to two pieces of metal, wouldn't it be better to exchange them for valuable resources for development? The protagonist noted that there was deep meaning in these words. The young man added that in that case, he would agree to 10 billion, and his soul would be at peace. The honored guests were outraged. Even forging new divine weapons would not cost that much. Su Bai said they were wrong. Perhaps these swords were not so useful in his hands. However, in Cao Zixuan's hands, they were his life. Did they really want to say that Zixuan's life was not worth that much? How long would it take to forge new divine weapons? Mrs. Cao declared that this was outright robbery. Director Zhou thought that the honored guests had seen how businesslike this young man was. One of the guests remarked that the young man was very cunning. Mr. Cao agreed and promised that the money would be delivered today. He expressed his hope that as soon as the funds were received, the young man would return the weapons to the Cao family. Saying goodbye to the guests, the protagonist promised to hand over the swords as soon as the money arrived. Su Bai asked the director, "If the Chao family is so desperate to pay a fortune for these swords, does that mean something serious is happening on the front lines?" Mr. Zhou remarked that the young man was very perceptive. The army had officially issued an order. All selected students and instructors must arrive at the front against the myriad races within 3 days. The director added that he was also going this time. In addition, the army had assigned Su Bai and Qing Shu a special mission. The director stated that this battle would be humanity's first counterattack against the myriad races in a century. On the battlefield, everyone is a warrior. It is necessary to be ready to carry out the task without fear. The Imperial Capital Military University is a place where all the geniuses of the Dragon Empire gather. The director said that when humanity goes to war, the imperial military institutions are at the forefront. It is necessary to fight for the great Dragon Empire and for the eternal glory of the Yanghuang people. The Military University of the Magic City. The new rector said that every time war breaks out, the University of the Magic City is the first to rush into battle. If you can devote your life to serving your country, why dream only of returning alive from the Yumen Pass? The students replied that they wanted their names to be inscribed in eternal glory and become a blessing for humanity, invincible in battle. 3 days passed. The garrison fortress at the Great Wall. In another day, the great battle would begin. It was necessary to check the magical crystal cannons once more and make sure they were loaded. Mistakes were unacceptable. The enemy's movements must be constantly monitored. No scout should come closer than 50 miles to the Great Wall. Su Bai suggested that the director look at other elite academies. They all have armor, while the students of the Jiangzhou Academy only have their school uniforms. No guarantee of protection on the battlefield. Maybe they should buy armor? After all, they have money now. They can afford several hundred sets. The director acknowledged that in normal times they could simply buy equipment with money. But now there was martial law. All supplies were issued only for combat merit. Those who needed armor had to destroy the enemy and earn merit. A warning was received that the enemy was advancing. Everyone had to take up their positions. The military officer approached the university directors and said he had no time for introductions. The enemy had launched a surprise attack. It was necessary to support the army in defending the Great Wall. No one was allowed to leave the fortress without an official order. Director Zhou announced to his students that the enemy was advancing. All the soldiers of the Jiangzhou Military University must go to the Great Wall. The student confessed to the director that he was already scared. Mr. Zhou reassured the young man, because their task was only to defend the Great Wall. From the fortress wall, it was clear that a real nightmare had begun. A flood of monsters. Was it even possible to kill all these beasts? It was like a meat grinder. Director Zhou stated that the main force in the battle against the myriad races was the army. The university must provide support. Then the students would gradually get used to the battlefield. Subai reminded them that they had been warned not to start a fight on their own. But did that mean that tamed beasts could attack on their own initiative? He didn't want to miss the chance to level up during such an invasion. The director reminded him that this was a battlefield, and Subai shouldn't do anything stupid. The magical crystal cannons were brought to full combat readiness and opened fire to kill. The commander gave the order to reload the cannons quickly and prepare even faster for the next volley. Subai reported that the beast was already approaching. The director ordered everyone to prepare for battle. The commander ordered the platinum-level warriors to move to the front line. Even the gold-ranked fighters prepared to repel the enemy invasion. Everyone had to be alert and defend the wall. The platinum-level fighters approached the army of beasts and prepared for battle. The battle began. The student asked the director for permission to join the battle. He wanted to fight shoulder to shoulder with the garrison army. Sitting idly by was unbearable. The director said that this was no place for breakthroughs. The students were here to help defend the Great Wall. The army had specifically given orders to protect the students. Sending them into battle now would be a senseless sacrifice. When the students became real soldiers, they would have a better chance of destroying the enemies. The magical crystal cannons fired a volley, and powerful beams struck the enemies. The platinum warrior was surprised. What was going on? They had been ordered to cease fire. The military commander was also surprised. Why were the cannons still firing? What was this strange force? Who had given the order to continue firing? However, the shooting did not come from the cannons. Xiaoba attacked the beasts. Subai ordered the turtle to continue firing. The director said that Subai was simply unbearable. Qingshu agreed. Was this even possible? Could beast tamers really do such a thing? Subai continued to give orders to the turtle and told it to attack a group of bronze-level monsters. Subai adjusted the direction of fire. Couldn't Xiaoba see that there was a silver-level monster there? They couldn't be destroyed with a single shot. In that case, the military merits would not be counted. It was necessary to aim at the bronze ones and be careful not to hit their own. Subai told Xiaoba not to be lazy and to try his best. Otherwise, all the beast cores would have to be given to the turtle. The soldiers did not understand where these two tamed beasts came from. They were incredibly strong. Could they be the beasts of one of the students at Zhangzhou University? Could a student who had not yet graduated have tamed such terrifying beasts? Platinum-level warriors surveyed the battlefield from a bird's-eye view. Some were among the destroyed animals. Director Zhou had to admit that Subai was a real trickster. But how did these two beasts become so powerful so quickly? The young man replied that it was all thanks to the resources and support provided by Director Zhou. Mr. Zhou acknowledged that this student had destroyed many beasts and earned military merit. The other students had been on the city wall the whole time and did not have time to participate. The general was informed that the battle report was ready. All 200 magic crystal cannons were now reloading. There were just under 6 hours left until their next use. More than 125,000 ferocious beasts were destroyed in this battle. The battle lasted half an hour. It was a great victory. General Huanshan was satisfied. An order must be issued. The main force is to rest and recover. Tomorrow, another major battle awaits them. The adjutant said there was something else. The commander of the 35th Division reported that Subai, a student at the university, had not left the city, but with the help of his tamed beasts, he had been able to replace the magic cannons and destroy a huge number of enemies. The commander requested that this student be awarded military honors. General Huanshan said that it was a very good tactical move to use tamed beasts instead of cannons. This student should be awarded standard military merit based on the number of enemies destroyed. In the central square of the base, the students considered this unfair. They did not participate in the battle at all. How then could they earn military points? Subai is the same student as all of them. Why are they forbidden to leave the city walls? How did Subai manage to earn so many military points? There is clearly some kind of fraud or manipulation going on here. Could Subai really have earned more than 40,000 military merit points? That's more than $400 million. Even a gold-level fighter doesn't earn that much. What did Subai do? Zi Xuan was angry at the protagonist and said that he would definitely defeat him. Subai replied that there was no need to be angry. A significant part of the military merit this time was obtained thanks to the powerful support of Uncle Chow. Subai added that he had read many books on weapon forging. Now he knew how to care for divine weapons and could help Caozi with this for a nominal fee. The next day arrived. The officer reported to the Supreme Commander that the reserve forces of the Great Wall Garrison were fully assembled. Zhao Yi, the honorary director of the Military University of the Magical City, reminded them that the day before, they had been attacked by 100,000 ferocious beasts. However, that was only a reconnaissance mission. Today, a real invasion awaited them. People never sit idly by waiting for death. The honorary director ordered everyone to take up arms and defend the land. The soldiers shouted that they were going on the counterattack, raised their weapons, and prepared to defend their homeland. Subai asked the director, "Are they really going to attack this time, or will they stay to guard the city gates again? How long can they hide like a turtle in its shell?" Mr. Zhou replied that there was no need to panic. They were ordered to stay here until a place was found on the battlefield. The artillery commander issued an order to the Psionic Legion to begin a full-scale, unlimited bombardment. A massive bombardment began, and the beasts were completely destroyed. The student said that this scared him a little. Subai reminded him that after the battle, the myriad RAs was a real hell on Earth. No living creature could withstand such a barrage of attacks. A warning came in that the enemy was releasing drill bears, a heavy armor legion. The commander of the advance guard said that the first wave of the bear attack must be stopped. The task must be accomplished at all costs. The heavy armor legion must prepare for a head-on collision. The opponents collided head-on. The huge drill bears possessed incredible strength. However, the advance guard, the heavy armor legion, was unshakable and did not give up. The commander repeated that the heavy armor legion must hold back these beasts at all costs. The number of attacking bears only increased. The beast commanders, standing on the observation tower, were surprised. Could humans really stop the drill bear clan? They had to break through them. Subai asked the director why the leader of the myriad races looked like a human. The director replied that platinum-level experts from the myriad races have the ability to take on human form. When they reach the diamond level, they are almost indistinguishable from humans. Even living side by side with them, it is impossible to notice anything unusual. The student asked the director when the High Command would give them a mission. Mr. Zhou noted that the battle was already raging, so the order should come very soon. The military officer arrived with the order and announced that all reserve fighters must support the main forces, assist with the evacuation of the wounded, and clear the battlefield. All military university students will be divided into small teams to carry out tasks together. A list of team assignments will be announced. The first squad would include Subai, Hu Qingshu, and Han Zhan. Subai would be the squad leader. The squad could help clear the battlefield or go to the Misty Mountains to support the main forces. Further actions would be determined by the commander. The military officer added that all squads must immediately assemble and begin carrying out orders. Some students were surprised. Why aren't the squads formed by university? Han Zhan told the protagonist that they hadn't seen each other in a long time and asked when they would have another good fight. Subai suggested talking about the fight later. But what was their mission? Qingshu noted that something strange was going on. The three of them had been assigned to the same squad and given some vague task. Han Zhan asked the commander if he knew what it was all about. Subai reminded him that the military order stated that the commander could decide how to proceed. Now he was beginning to understand something. Subai informed his director that they were departing on a combat mission. Zhang Zhou advised the young man to exercise caution. At the decisive moment, life is paramount. Subai said he understood and ordered his squad members to follow him. Han Zhan asked what their mission was. Subai and his squad arrived at the battlefield and said that the ground was littered with the bodies of destroyed beasts. It was a brutal sight. However, he could smell the beasts' nuclei. Han Zhan noted that dying on the battlefield was the highest honor for a warrior. Subai said that the older comrades should rest in peace, and the younger generation would continue on their path. Qingshu asked if everything was okay with Subai. Subai replied that he was fine. However, such is the fate of a soldier. Han Zhan asked the commander if his tamed beasts were violating military discipline by eating animal carcasses right on the battlefield. Subai replied that he did not think so. The beasts were helping them by lightening the task of clearing the battlefield, which was not easy. Voices could be heard in the distance. Someone had recognized Subai and his team. Subai told the cat and the turtle to calm down. they still had a mission to complete. The protagonist hid the animals in his backpack and said that they had to finish the job first, and then he would help them eat their fill. Subai told his colleagues that they needed to move forward. Qingshu asked where they were going. Subai warned that they were heading towards the Mist Mountains. However, they had to hurry. Members of another squad noted that Subai and his team did not even wait for the other university squads assigned to scout the mountains. They just rushed straight to the Mist Mountains. Why were they in such a hurry? The commander of the second squad said they should get ready. They would also be moving out. Their task is to assist in reconnaissance of the area. But if they stay away from particularly dangerous areas, everything will be fine. The commander of the second detachment said they needed to speed up. The sooner they entered, the more military merit they would earn. Subai said that the thick fog was unlikely to dissipate anytime soon. Visibility was almost zero. They would have to navigate by instruments. It would be better to stay close to each other. Qingshu noted that with such weather and difficult terrain, it would be easy to fall into an ambush here, especially if the army decided to take this route. Subai remarked that in such conditions, it was much more effective to move in small detachments. Hanjan suggested approaching him. Hanjan was holding a blood mushroom, a first-level spiritual plant, one of the key ingredients for Qi blood powder. This fruit was more than 10 years old. In a shop selling materials, it could fetch more than 100,000. Subai noted that it would be foolish not to collect these mushrooms now. Subai said he had decided to pick mushrooms and called on his tamed animals for help. Qingshu reminded him that they still had a task to complete. Subai said that this place was a treasure trove of natural treasures. He was not going to leave empty-handed. Subai warned Xiaoba and Xiaobai not to eat these mushrooms, as they could be poisonous. Hanjan scanned the area and said that they needed to be careful. Energy surges had been detected ahead, and several wild beasts were approaching. A golden two-headed beast and 3 silver wolves appeared out of the fog. Subai said that they were early gold-level creatures, and that he could handle them on his own. Qingshu and Hanjan could continue their reconnaissance. Han Qian warned Subai not to take all the credit for himself. Qingshu agreed. Even though Subai was the captain, he shouldn't take all the credit, so they would also attack the beasts. The students attacked the wild beasts and began to inflict damage on them. The beasts put up a strong resistance. Subai asked Hanjan to rest for at least 5 minutes. He would quickly deal with these beasts on his own. Hanjan was surprised. Only a few days had passed, and Subai had already almost broken through to the middle of the silver level. Qingshu, attacking the beasts, told Subai to talk less and show what he was capable of. Subai told the two to leave at least one beast for him. His colleagues were surprised. Why was Subai so slow? The commander of the second squad said that there was a battle ahead. Judging by the bursts of energy, there were gold-ranked fighters and beasts there. The fighters might need help. They needed to be supported. After the battle, Qingshu admitted that Subai was a real trickster. He aimed straight at the beasts' weak spots. Hanjan admitted that Subai was indeed ruthless. Subai told the tamed beasts that they were lucky again. They could now eat and regain their strength, and then get back to work. A student from the second squad said that just a few minutes ago, they had felt powerful bursts of energy from a whole pack of ferocious beasts. How could they have disappeared so quickly? The commander of the second squad approached Hanjan and said that it was not for nothing that he was considered the strongest genius of the Great Wall Guards. Hanjan said that most of these beasts had been killed by Subai and his tamed animals. The commander of the second squad was surprised. Could Subai really have dealt with all of them alone in 5 minutes? Subai wondered if Caozi had come so that he could repair his divine artifacts again. The protagonist added that he even missed those 2 divine swords. Caozi asked the hero, as the commander of the first squad, what his future plans were. Subai replied that it was a great place, and he was thinking of going deeper into the Mist Mountains to wipe out more ferocious beasts. Subai said that he also wanted to clear the way for the main army. Qingshu and Hanjan thought that this guy just wanted to collect more natural treasures. He wanted to earn more military merits. Caozi suggested going on the next expedition together. Whoever finds the resources first gets the spoils. Subai replied that he had no objection. So, there would be no fair sharing here. He was fine with that. Subai declared that in that case, he would go ahead, and the others should not fall behind. Hanjan and Qingshu shouted for the commander not to run so fast. Chaozi told his squad not to fall behind and to hurry up. Chaozi looked ahead and was surprised. Why did those 3 stop? What was ahead of them? Chaozi was surprised. Where did so many gold-level beasts suddenly come from? The golden level beasts turned out to be members of a primate troop of incredible size. They occupied the branches of nearby trees and were clearly aggressive. The man with the average gold level was indignant. How could these beasts allow silver-level humans to go so far? Subai noticed that there was a humanoid beast in front of him. It was definitely platinum level. Hanjan suggested that it was from the clan of mystical snakes, one of the 3 royal clans. This was the strongest race, serving the heavenly devourer of the 9 underworlds. Noble blood among 10,000 races. They are capable of taking human form even at low levels, and their combat power surpasses that of their peers of the same level. This is the most dangerous enemy of all those present here. The leader of the enemy formation ordered the beasts to destroy all humans. No one should leave this place alive. The second squad was surprised. Why were there so many ferocious beasts here? Hanjan said that Wang Yan was the fastest and should immediately run for reinforcements. Wang Yan promised that the first squad could hold out and he would bring help very quickly. However, a huge beast blocked his path. Wang Yan noted that now he would have to give it his all. Hanjan asked if Subai could handle this black snake alone. Chao Zi confidently replied that he would cut down every one of these beasts. Subai summoned the cat and the turtle and told them to get to work. It won't be easy, he added. The leader of the enemy group asked if this man really wanted to fight him. In that case, he was ready to warm up. His snakes prepared to attack. Xiaobai immediately attacked the aggressive snakes, unleashing an energy blast at them. Qingshu had to admit that the power of the high-level golden beast was truly colossal. Hanjan noticed that Wang Yan had managed to lure 3 beasts away, and that he was probably in danger now. Hanjan told Subai to deal with his opponents as quickly as possible. Wang Yan would not last long. Subai replied that he understood. At that moment, the young man was holding an aggressive snake by the mouth. Subai tore the snake apart and told Xiaobai to quickly finish the fight. His opponent was outraged. How dare this pathetic man speak with such insolence? Xiaobai continued to aggressively attack the beasts. Xiaobai attacked his opponents again with his energy beam. Subai noticed that if it had been a normal gold level, the blow would have completely engulfed them, ending them. But it turned out to be more complicated. Another huge snake appeared, surpassing all the previous ones in size. The opponent said that this man was strong and that it was hard to believe that he had forced the beast to reveal its true form. Subai noted that the opponent still had at least a little bit of sense. He understood who to target. Our hero added that his opponent's speed was still no match for his own. The young man called on the turtle to attack his rivals. Xiaobai rushed into the attack and sank his sharp teeth into the body of the huge snake. It immediately began coughing up blood. Subai told Xiaobai to attack immediately and finish it off. The cat rushed to the turtle's aid. Hanjan admitted that the 2 tamed beasts of the squad commander were simply incredible. They managed to corner the leader of the mystical snakes. Subai said he didn't want to play anymore. He had more important things to do, and he kicked the snake in the head with all his might. The snake lost its balance and fell to the ground. At that moment, Xiaobai sank his teeth into it. The turtle took a huge leap and was about to land on the snake. Subai told Xiaobai to move aside to avoid trouble. As a result of their joint operation, the huge snake was destroyed. Subai said that they had finally gotten rid of this rival. The next moment, the snake's body began to swell, and it was very dangerous. There was an incredible explosion. The members of the first squad were afraid for their commander. However, when the smoke cleared, Subai was safe and sound. He noted that this villain still had a trick up his sleeve against them. It turned out that the beast was still alive and tried to hide in the bushes. Hanjan prepared his weapon and said he would take care of it himself. The mystical snake was already wounded and did not pose much of a threat. Subai agreed and added that he would let his colleague go this time. Subai said he was going to rescue Wang Yan. Han and Qingshu would stay here to clean up. Wang Yan was surrounded by ferocious monkeys. He admitted that this time he had underestimated the speed of these golden-level beasts. Although white monkeys with elongated arms are not considered agile, their physical strength is remarkable. Would he really meet his demise here? Wang Yangshuan said that even if he died, he would take at least 1 beast with him. The young man thrust his spear forward and rushed at the huge primates. However, the monkey was stronger and faster. It managed to dodge and counterattack Wang Yan. The young man dropped his weapon and flew far back. The monkeys continued to beat the man, striking him repeatedly with their hands and feet. Wang Yan hit his back against a tree, broke it, and fell to the ground. The young man thought that his end had truly come. The huge primate picked up the man's spear and swung it. Wang Yan asked why he was delaying. The young man added that one day the human race would exterminate all these monsters. Wang Yan said that it seemed he would no longer be able to fight Subai and Hanjan. Suddenly, the protagonist appeared between the monkey and the man and told Wang Yan to hold on a little longer. The young man set up a barrier and knocked the spear out of the monkey's hands. Wang Yan asked if Subai had really come for him. Wang Yan told Subai to avenge him and fell to the ground. The protagonist added that Wang Yan should not lose consciousness. Our hero became very angry and declared that he would tear these beasts to pieces. The turtle and the white cat were also nearby. The tamed beasts pounced on the primates. Subai grabbed Wang Yan's spear and swung it at the largest monkey. The spear throw was powerful and extremely aggressive. The spear stuck into the monkey's chest and threw it far back. The spear stuck into a tree. The monkey was pinned to the tree, its wounds bleeding. Subai told Wang Yan that he had been avenged and it was time to regain consciousness. Suddenly, the system reported that a target with the potential to become the heir to the white tiger's blood had been detected. At the moment, she was in critical condition. The master could use the essence of the white tiger's blood to prolong the target's life. Subai told Wang Yan to come to his senses immediately. There was a way to save him. Subai added that he knew how to save Wang Yan, but in return, he would lose his freedom and be bound forever. "Do you agree?" he asked. Wang Yan struggled to respond that he agreed. Subai demanded that Xiaobai immediately give 3 drops of his blood. The white tiger, without hesitation, measured out 3 drops of blood and handed them to his master. Subai told Xiaobai and Xiaobai to protect him. The protagonist turned to Wang Yan and told him once again to hang on. Subai used the 3 drops of blood as intended and changed the bloodline. The necessary processes began to take place at lightning speed. Wang Yan naturally cried out in pain, as it was almost impossible to endure such a thing. After a short time, Wang Yan stopped twitching and came to his senses. His body looked completely healthy, except for some bruises on his face. The protagonist asked how he was feeling. Wang Yan looked at his hands and asked how Subai had done it. After all, such a method was definitely beyond the power of an ordinary person. Even an expert at the king level would not be able to do such a thing. Subai reminded him that before saving him, he had obtained Wang Yan's consent. Now Wang Yan was bound to him forever. As for his secrets, Wang Yan had no right to reveal them. It was also forbidden to disclose any information related to Subai. Anyone who violated the ban would be cursed by heaven and earth, and their soul would be completely destroyed. Wang Yan asked in surprise whose voice he was hearing. However, the young man accepted the warning. Subai said that he had spent a lot of energy to save Wang Yan. His life was much more valuable than the 2 swords in Chao Zi's hands. The price was very high. Wang Yan jumped to his feet and shouted for Subai to take care of himself. Suddenly, aggressive snakes began to crawl out from under the ground. The protagonist realized that he shouldn't have let that beast go. Now he would have to deal with the consequences. Subai told Xiaobai to immediately deal with this abomination. The order was carried out, and the snakes were torn to shreds. However, the young man assumed that they were not material. What is going on? Why are there more snakes after they are destroyed? He wondered. Hanjan and Qingshu came to help and asked, "Is Wang Yan okay?" Wang Yan said he was fine. Subai asked, "Why are those 2 taking so long?" Qingshu said that there was no end to these snakes. Someone was definitely controlling them. "We need to find this puppeteer. It must be that snake they didn't finish off earlier." Suddenly, a man appeared and said that some insects dared to challenge the 9 circles of Hell Clan. Qingshu noticed that Subai had thrown this villain back to his true form, and in a short time, he took on human form again. How did he recover so quickly? He wondered. The protagonist said that this guy was not as simple as he had previously appeared. He added that it was just a copy. It was practically impossible to destroy. The young people saw that the monster was holding the body of Zheng Leiqiao in its hands. An aggressive Chao Zi said he would destroy this scoundrel with his own hands. Hanjan acknowledged that his rival had become much stronger, and that it was necessary to exercise extreme caution. Chao Zi asked Subai to destroy this villain for him. He was willing to pay any price. Subai told Qingshu and Hanjan to take care of the rest, and he would deal with this slippery snake himself. The villain threw Leiqiao's body on the ground and said that this pathetic insect had a very loud voice. Subai warned that he would cut this scoundrel into pieces and make snake soup out of him. The clash between the rivals caused an explosion and thick smoke. The monster admitted that, as expected, the man was not so simple. Subai quickly emerged from the thick smoke and delivered a crushing blow to his unexpected opponent's back, forcing him to fly far away. The monster remained standing, but Subai admitted that his opponent had become much stronger. Subai told his tamed beasts that they would form a 7-star formation of 3 devils. It was necessary to surround the villain. The 7-star formation of 3 devils was the greatest secret technique that the protagonist could use, utilizing the fusion of the source. It allowed the protagonist to combine his powers with those of Xiaobao and Xiaoba. The villain was about to experience a triple blow, and the protagonist said that this scoundrel would be destroyed right now. The monster remained standing and admitted that the technique was quite ingenious, but unfortunately, this man still lacked strength. The villain transformed into a 3-headed snake of incredible size. Hanjan noticed this and told Subai to be careful. More snakes appeared and rushed straight at the commander of the first squad. Subai looked back and saw that the aggressive snakes were very close. Urgent action was needed. Wang Yan shouted that he felt a terrifying power, but that was impossible. Subai couldn't lose so easily. Cao Zi demanded that Subai immediately report whether he was alive or dead. Subai shouted loudly. Xiaoba and Xiaobai immediately joined in his cry. The 3-headed snake was surprised. How dare his opponent grow stronger right before his eyes? The snake aggressively attacked the protagonist, directing a powerful energy charge at him. Han Jan admitted that the attack was too strong. Subai was in danger. Something had to be done urgently to save him. Wang Yan said that he couldn't move at all and was even unable to resist. However, Subai, despite everything, managed to activate a powerful energy wave that spread in all directions at incredible speed. Han Jan understood what was going on and said that the divine artifacts were merging into the weapon of the sacred beast. Heaven and earth converged, and the soul attained immortality. The roots of grass and trees, the sources merged into one. Qingshu was surprised. Is this really the legendary weapon of the sacred beast? Wang Yan added that this was exactly what Lord Luo Fen had used to break through thousands of miles, fighting countless powerful enemies. Such a powerful heavenly phenomenon. Could it really be? The ultimate technique of that very person from 100 years ago. How is that possible? The young man wondered. The protagonist received a message from the system that he was not yet able to fully control the power. When his life and mental resources reached a critical point, the state would end, and his body would fall into a period of severe weakness. Within a few minutes, it was all over. A deep mark remained in the ground, reminiscent of the unprecedented power of the attack. The fort of the Great Wall Guards. The commander, looking into the distance, said that this guy was progressing at an alarming rate. The marshal added that the mighty Lord of the Nine Hells had attacked a simple young man. The commander waved his sword and asked, "Do they really think he's already dead?" The monster from the mist told Nieching not to get cocky. His time is running out. Once he falls, humanity will be left without a royal protector and will be doomed to destruction. Subai lost a lot of strength after such an attack and could not stand on his feet. He had to kneel down. The tamed animals also lay nearby, exhausted. His colleagues rushed to help, but Subai surprised them again. "Is he okay?" they asked. Qingshu noted that the battle had been successful. They had managed to kill the Dizan snake, a high-level mystical beast, 1 medium-level golden beast, 2 low-level beasts, and more than 80 silver beasts. They had indeed killed them all. Wang Yan said it was simply unbelievable. Now he would brag about it for a whole year. Han Jan noted that the battle had been very dangerous. If Subai hadn't awakened the sacred beast weapon, they would have all been wiped off the face of the earth. Subai said that the smell of blood could attract other ferocious beasts. "It's better to leave here," he added. Suddenly, someone said that no one dared to leave. A human shadow appeared in the air, activating high-density energy flows. Qingshu told everyone to stay put and be on alert. The man transformed his excess energy into a huge snake that attacked the people. Subai closed his eyes and put his hands forward to protect himself. However, nothing happened. The young man opened one eye first. It turned out that Hu Huanshan, who possessed the level of a lord, had unexpectedly appeared in the forest glade. He blocked the attack and said that Long Ao also possessed the level of a lord. "Isn't he ashamed to attack young people?" he asked. Han Zhan, on behalf of the entire team, thanked Lord Hu Huanshan for his timely intervention. Long Ao was still hovering in the air and said that Huanshan had done the wrong thing. It was useless. "Today, I will definitely take the one who awakened the sacred beast weapon," he promised. Long Ao added that his race would never allow another Luo Feng to appear. Hu Huanshan retorted, "Don't even dream of it." Long Ao activated an energy charge in his hands and asked if Hu Huanshan could really protect this man. The students found themselves surrounded by an even more countless horde of snakes, all of which were at least of the initial gold level. Han Zhan admitted that he wasn't even trying to count their exact number. King Shu sighed. "Labor Day is coming soon. I want to relax, enjoy the scent of flowers, and have a nice weekend." The girl waved her hand and added that she would miss them. Subai wished her luck. The young people said they were going out to have fun and wouldn't be able to help Subai. "So he'll have to finish the job himself," they said. Subai thought that everyone was having fun while he still had to be on duty. "It's very unfair," he muttered. He wanted to go on vacation too. Lung Gao continued to build up his energy and asked mockingly what Hu Huanshan was turning around for. The first squad was surrounded by snakes. The commander ordered everyone to prepare for a simultaneous attack. Hu Huanshan said it was time to stretch his muscles and spread a powerful energy pulse in all directions. Subai admitted, "That was amazing. Now I understand what Mr. Huanshan's Phoenix Tree technique looks like." Long Ao was surprised. Had Hu Huanshan really grasped the power of the law? It was impossible to even defend against the subtle energy of the law, which was slowly destroying his life force. Long Ao clung to the edge of the crevice and said that today he would not be able to compete with Hu Huanshan. "He will be able to protect this boy, but not for long," he added, and disappeared into the crevice. Before leaving, Long Ao warned that all the myriad races would hunt Subai. As soon as he appeared outside the Great Wall, the strongest would be sent after him to destroy him. Hu Huanshan, still propped up by the mighty tree, demanded that Long Ao disappear and never show up here again. Han Jin said that he had witnessed an incredible display of power. "This is what a battle between truly powerful opponents looks like," he added. Han Jan continued, "With their every move, the heavens and earth are set in motion. It is an immense and boundless power." Subai admitted that he also wanted to reach that level. Hu Huanshan said to Subai, "Remember, no matter how strong you are, there will always be someone you cannot defeat. The only person you must surpass is yourself." Hu Huanshan informed the students that it was time to return. Han Jin noticed that teleportation had been activated and that Hu Huanshan had done it using his own power. "He has incredible speed," he said. Subai confessed again that he also wanted to be that strong. Unexpectedly, Ni Qing appeared out of nowhere and said that Subai had done well. The young man deserved congratulations on awakening the weapon of the sacred beast. Subai asked who this man was. The old man ordered Hu Huanshan to take Subai to the assembly hall. Subai was surprised. Why did the stranger disappear again? Hu Huanshan explained that this man was a hero of the human race, a royal-level warrior, Lord Ni Qing. Subai asked in amazement, was it really Ni Qing himself? Hu Huanshan said that Lord Ni Qing lived in the same era as Lord Luofen. At that time, spiritual energy was returning and martial arts were awakening. At the age of 20, seeing humanity's defeats in battles with myriad races, Ni Qing proposed the idea of using martial arts for the good of the nation. At that time, many just laughed at him. People believed that only technology could save humanity. Relying on martial arts was considered a fantasy. Lord Luofen, after listening to Ni Qing's words, became his close friend. Together, they made a great vow to devote their lives to the revival of martial arts and the prosperity of humanity. The protagonist arrived at his destination and heard that it was Subai, Luofeng's disciple, who had awakened the weapon of the sacred beast. With the appearance of Subai, humanity seemed to have found a ray of hope in this endless war. It was said that the current generation was willing to endure hardship, but if Subai rose to power, the next generation would reap the fruits of his strength. Hu Huanshan asked if the young man felt a lot of pressure. Subai was not yet at the stage of bearing responsibility for the fate of the nation. It was important to focus on his own growth now. The protagonist replied that he understood. Subai entered the assembly hall. Hu Huanshan announced that he had brought the awakened young man. Subai saw many great masters at the table and was taken aback. Lin Zhengnan, nicknamed Old Tiger Lin, was the strongest diamond-level master. The protagonist asked why this warrior was here. Ni Qing, who presided over the table, said that since everyone was gathered, they should get down to business. The awakening of the sacred beast weapon caused a huge resonance among the myriad races. They even sent a lord-level warrior to destroy the young man. The debate began. One of those present noted that for the first time in 100 years, the weapon of the sacred beast Luo Feng had reappeared in the world. If Subai became stronger, he would lead humanity to glory. "We must protect this young man at all costs," he said. A bearded man with glasses suggested appointing the best mentors and providing resources to help him reach the level of lord, and possibly even king. "Subai's life is now more valuable than all of theirs combined," he said. Subai looked at the gathering who spoke in his support and thought that all these people were truly good. Old Tiger Lin expressed his opinion. Subai should continue to temper himself in battles with myriad races. The strength of a great fighter is born only on the brink of life and death. Indestructibility can only be achieved by purifying the spirit, energy, and body. Strong personalities are not born in hothouse conditions. Another speaker stated that now the myriad races had literally gone mad with the appearance of the sacred beast's weapon. The young man cannot be sent back to the battlefield without reliable protection. Who is ready to take on such responsibility? After all, he is Luo Feng's only heir in 100 years. Hu Huanshan supported Lin Zhengnan's opinion. "A proud eagle will not flinch even in a hurricane, and a wolf pack will not fear a long night." Hu Huanshan added that Luo Fen himself considered the battlefield almost his home, and had been on the verge of death dozens of times. He would also support the idea that Subai should fight on the front lines. Subai thought to himself that with unlimited resources, he would never go to the front. Life is more precious. Nai Qing announced the decision. The warrior must be tempered in real combat, but everything must be under strict control. It was necessary to send 3 Lord-level experts, 38 Diamond-level fighters, and 1,000,000 soldiers to support the front at the Misty Mountains. Subai breathed a sigh of relief. If so many people were being sent to protect him, he could now relax a little. Ye Qing, senior advisor, added that the young man could be used as bait to cause carnage among the enemy's elite forces. "This time, humanity will definitely win," he declared. Subai did not expect such an outcome and thought, could he really be bait now? The Nine Hells Castle is the residence of the myriad races. A secret meeting was held inside the castle. The chairman announced that the weapon of the sacred beast had returned, and many remembered the terror that Luo Feng had spread. The Lord of the 9 Circles of Hell announced that they could not allow another Luo Fen to appear. "We must destroy this Subai at all costs," he decreed. 8 Lord-level fighters and 42 Diamond-level warriors should be sent to reinforce the front at the Misty Mountains. The Great Elders of the Heavenly Nine-Tailed Fox clan will take care of Nichin. The Great Elder of the Demonic Phoenix clan declared that her clan would not send a single fighter to this operation. The Grand Elder of the Heavenly Nine-Tailed Fox clan also announced that her clan would not participate in this action. The Lord of the 9 Circles of Hell was surprised. Have they decided to betray him? The Lord explained that the 3 great royal clans had been given a joint order to take the field in the myriad races battle. Now that they were facing a powerful enemy, these 2 had decided to retreat. The Great Elders were surprised. Does the Lord of the 9 Circles of Hell want to attack us? What other powerful enemies are we talking about? We came here not to fight, but to explore the Forbidden Zone. It seems that the 9 Circles of Hell clan is simply looking for a reason to destroy humans. They are here for endless resources, not for bloodshed. The Lord of the 9 Circles of Hell has declared that even if the Elders refuse, his clan will see the matter through to the end. The Great Elders may regret it later. The Great Elders noted that the battle was near, and the human and myriad masters were already on the move. Have they still not found the Holy Maiden? That girl has always been wayward. We must expand the search area and find the Holy Maiden before the war begins at any cost. Nei Qing handed Subai a heavenly jade pendant and said that as long as he had it, no one would be able to sense his presence. Even the king of the 9 Circles of Hell would not notice him. With this artifact, it would be easier for the young man to hide from the strongest of the myriad races. Subai thanked Nie Qing, adding that simply hiding his aura was not enough. It would be better to equip him with gear and resources to increase his strength. Nie Qing laughed and remarked that the young man really knew how to take advantage of crises. Nie Qing snapped his fingers, and a chest appeared in front of Subai. The young man's eyes lit up. Inside the chest were diamond-level armor, a 10,000-year-old ice heart, and a dragon soul of the same age. Subai also found many medicines. He was surprised. Is all this for me? Nei Qing confirmed that all of this now belonged to the young man. but it would be boring to give everything away at once, so the artifacts would be given out in stages. Subai said that he wanted to get the diamond armor first, so that he wouldn't die in battle. Neiching noted that Subai was not yet ready for this armor. The young man admitted that this was cruel. The old man recommended that he train harder. Subai remembered how he once saw countless treasures and hesitated for just a second, and now he was crying, remembering that mistake. Subai noticed a man nearby and wondered, could it be old Tiger Lin? Lin Zhengnan told the young man to follow him. They needed to talk about something. Subai thought that he and Lin Yanzhan, Zhengnan's daughter, had nothing going on. They were honest with each other and innocent. Zhengnan suggested that Subai stay on the battlefield of myriad races. The young man replied that he was not angry and understood that old Tiger Lin wanted him to become a true master. The man admitted that he still did not understand what his daughter saw in Subai. The young man tried to explain that they were just good friends who knew what was acceptable and what was not. Lin Zhengnan said that he did not want to discuss this anymore and would not interfere in their childish affairs. He handed the young man the armor and added that it was his gift. The young man must take care of himself and not die on the battlefield. Subai accepted the gift and thanked Uncle Lin. Zhengnan ordered him to go to training immediately. Subai promised to train hard and not let old Tiger Lin down. The next day arrived. Students and military personnel paid their respects to the fallen. Chaozi said that Zheng Leiqiao should rest in peace. Han Zhan noticed Subai's appearance. Han Zhan was surprised and asked where Subai got such excellent equipment. Niqing addressed the warriors of the human race and announced that the army of the myriad races was already moving towards the Great Wall. There were more than 1 million enemies, but even if the humans were outnumbered, they would still win. Han Zhen noted that among the royal-level fighters, Lord Niqing was stronger than the king of the 9 circles of hell. To restrain Niqing, the myriad races would surely send several lord-level fighters to cooperate with the king. Subai asked what to do in that case. Han Zhan replied that they should use tactics and follow the orders of the leadership. An order was issued for all reconnaissance units from military universities to accompany the troops and advance into the Misty Mountains for reconnaissance. Upon detecting the enemy, they were to provide support in battle. Han Zhan said that diamond-level fighters had already entered the fray. Qingshu warned of the need for caution. The aura here was unstable, and treacherous enemies were surely hiding nearby. Subai noted that the only enemies here were armored wolves and horned demon deer, but they were weak. One of the students declared that he would take care of the armored wolves and rushed into the attack. Han Zhan, wielding his weapon, noted that the enemies were afraid of them escaping. Chaozi admitted that his hands were itching to get into the fight. Han Zhan said that they were facing ordinary weaklings and that Subai could rest. Subai agreed that the beasts were weak, but he wasn't going to give up the glory just like that. The protagonist released his tamed animals from his backpack. Xiaoba and Xiaobai burst out and destroyed all enemies in their path. Han Zhan noted that Subai had completely lost his conscience. He didn't even want to share the credit for the battle. Cao Zi agreed with this opinion. The white tiger and the huge green turtle did indeed look threatening against the backdrop of weak enemies. The wolves and deer felt the pressure coming from deep within their blood and could not resist. The white tiger and green turtle roared loudly, subjugating the will of the beasts. Subai was surprised. Why were his animals roaring like that? The system congratulated the young man on awakening a new ability. Now he could subjugate other races and turn them into his personal combat unit. The protagonist was delighted. He had gained the ability of a legion. Han Zhen inquired what was happening and confirmed that Subai had indeed brought these animals. Subai said that the animals had been charmed by his charm. His colleagues were morally depressed. Subai noted that if the beasts had submitted, they must obey all orders. The armored wolf clan would guard the rear, and the demonic deer clan would guard the flanks. Han Zhan added that with such protection on the sides and rear, reconnaissance could be accelerated. Wang Yan wondered how Subai had managed to convince the armored wolves. The protagonist was surprised by the turtle's strange behavior. Had Xiaoba discovered some secret? The turtle was acting unusually. Suddenly, a giant centipede burst out of the ground. At the same time, Xiaoba was accelerated and thrown high into the air. Hanjin warned everyone to be extra vigilant. The toothed centipede was extremely dangerous, and was known as the Ghost of Hell. Subai asked if the centipede was really that scary. The toothed centipede was indeed aggressive towards Xiaoba. Qingshu noted that its body, like that of a centipede, was capable of burrowing into the ground in seconds and disappearing without a trace. Its paws were like saws, Nothing could withstand them. Hanjan added that where the serrated centipede passes, not even grass remains. It is a real disaster. Its sharp paws instantly cut its target into hundreds of pieces. Subai suggested that this was an exaggeration. What he saw did not seem like such a threat. Xiaoba felt confident in the company of centipedes, almost befriending them. The protagonist learned that the clan of toothed centipedes expressed a desire to swear allegiance. Subai decided to agree. Deep in the valley of the Misty Mountains, people were making their way through the valley. The woman surrounded by huge primates assumed that the people would pass through this place tomorrow. However, the attack by the human race began much earlier. An order was given to all units to go on full combat alert. The huge monkey was attacked by a centipede that burst out of the ground. The woman, the leader of the beasts, was surprised. How did these centipedes get here? It was necessary to send alarm signals to the king of the 9 circles of hell. The primates began to scatter in terror, as a huge number of dangerous centipedes emerged from the ground. The woman tried to seal the place where the centipedes were emerging and summoned snakes from underground for support. However, the snakes that appeared were attacked by the centipedes and destroyed. The woman turned into a huge snake and tried to fight back against the centipedes that attacked her. The giant snake said that even her scaly armor could not withstand the attack. The centipedes won a decisive victory. The warriors who appeared afterwards saw the destroyed giant snake. It had been torn to pieces. But who did this to the mystical snake of the Misty Lands? Who could destroy it with such force? People were surprised. Could it be the serrated centipede, also known as the Ghost of Hell? Could it have appeared on the battlefield? The warrior said that it was necessary to immediately send a report and notify all armed forces. Toothed centipedes had been spotted in the Misty Mountains. If anyone from the human race encountered them, it was necessary to retreat immediately. Under no circumstances should they engage in battle with them. The first squad continued to advance deep into enemy territory. Hanjan reported that according to the map, the entire ridge of the Misty Mountains stretched for more than 300 kilometers. They had been on the road for a long time, but for some reason had not reached Clearwater Lake. Subai was indignant. Did his colleagues doubt the route he had mapped out? Qingshu suggested that they had gotten lost after all. Subai believed that this could not be the case. The problem was probably with the map. Hanjan said that the map could not be wrong, because it was a military map. Subai thought that he might indeed have made a mistake, as he had always been poor at navigating. Hanjan was indignant. Why hadn't Subai warned them about this earlier? Qingshu asked what they should do. Who would lead them to the Clearwater Lake if he was also bad at navigating? Subai was indignant. It turned out that everyone was confused about the directions, but for some reason, only he was being blamed. Hanjan now did not understand how they would be able to get to this lake. Subai said that in that case, they would have to resort to the last proven remedy. The young man took a green turtle out of his backpack. Subai gave the turtle a crystal and said that it should lead them to the Clearwater Lake. The turtle ate the crystal and confidently moved further along the road. Subai said that now they should not get lost. Qingshu said it was good that they had Xiaoba. Otherwise, they would never have found their way out of there. Hanjan expressed confidence that they were now moving in the right direction. The young people noticed that the fog was becoming less dense, which meant they had emerged from it. Subai said that the turtle was very good. It really knew how to find its way. However, what the students saw before them did not resemble Clearwater Lake at all. Where had Xiaoba led them? Hanjan checked the military topographic map and declared that they were on the edge of Clearwater Lake. Suddenly, a huge dragon appeared above the young people. The students were puzzled. The decision was made to flee. The young people turned around and quickly began to put this decision into action. Subai asked the turtle where it had led them. It couldn't be that the 3 of them had gone beyond the boundaries of the map and into unknown lands. Hanjan couldn't keep up with his colleagues and shouted for them to wait for him. After a while, the young people noticed that the creature had disappeared and decided to take a short break. But what was it? Where had it taken them? The map indicated that the edges of the lake were safe. Subai said he had a feeling that the map couldn't be trusted. The map didn't show such a dangerous place. Could Xiaoba really have led them astray? A girl appeared in front of the young people and said that they were nobodies. How could they not even try to protect her at such a critical moment? Why did they only think about themselves? Subai was surprised. Where did this girl come from? Hanjan admitted that he was so focused on escaping that he didn't even notice her. The system reported that the hero had discovered a demonic phoenix with the blood of a scarlet bird. The clan of demonic phoenixes is proud and difficult to subdue. It is necessary to find a way to tame it. Subai was surprised. Could it be that the scarlet bird he was looking for was a child? The girl was indignant. Who did he call a child? The young man must be careful, otherwise the Holy Virgin would burn him alive. Subai thought. Maybe he should hit her so she would come to her senses. The girl asked what he was up to. How dare he approach her? The girl became angry and burst into flames. How dare this man show disrespect to the Holy Virgin? He would regret it. Hanjin thought that this girl was not simple at all. It seemed that she really did have a violent temper. Subai said that children who don't listen will have to be taught a lesson. The girl was outraged. Did this thing dare to raise a hand against her? The young people prepared dinner from the game that lived in the surrounding area. Hanjan asked Subai if he wanted a chicken leg. Qingshu added that they needed to regain their strength to fight again. Subai told the girl to stop fighting and offered her some food. The child replied that she wasn't done yet. When the elder of her clan shows up, then we'll see who wins. Subai said that when the elder appeared, he would defeat her. Right now, they needed to eat. The girl demanded justice and insisted that they let her go. Hanjan handed Subai a chicken leg. He admitted that the roasted chicken smelled wonderful. Hanjan noticed that it was a bronze fire rooster. Subai said that this was not surprising, as it was an extraordinary bird. The girl said that she had already eaten a lot, and some bronze birds would not surprise her. The girl asked what spices had been added. Did food really taste better when roasted over a fire? Subai asked if the holy maiden wanted to try it. Subai salted the chicken leg and said that it would be even tastier with spices. The girl admitted that it smelled delicious. The Holy Virgin tasted the chicken leg and declared that it was the most delicious leg she had ever eaten in her life. The girl swore that from that day on, she would eat such food every day, because it was much tastier than the elder's spiritual ingredients. Subai said that everything could be very simple. If she wanted chicken legs with every meal, she had to obey and do everything he said. The girl agreed and promised to do everything as long as he gave her chicken legs. The Holy Virgin added that she did not deceive and always kept her word. As long as the chicken legs were well cooked, the protagonist thought that the scarlet bird could be tamed with just a chicken leg. The young man told the cat and the turtle to come out and greet the girl. Subai declared that from that moment on, Xiaohong was also part of their family. The girl said that she thought the turtle and the cat were very cute. The turtle was indignant. He was actually the older brother of this girl. The cat said that Xiaohong should show respect. The girl hugged the animals and said that they were very cute. Subai told Xiaohong to behave properly, because they were her older brothers. Hanjan asked Qingshu if he thought Subai was really raising this girl like a tame animal. He had a feeling that Subai's intentions were not entirely pure. Hanjan added that this guy had leveled up, and they hadn't even noticed. Subai was clearly hiding something from the public. Hanjan asked if Subai had really advanced to the high silver level. The protagonist replied that it was quite easy. Hanjan was surprised. Did Subai have some kind of secret technique? How was he able to level up so quickly? Subai thought he couldn't admit that he had a system. The young man said that he did indeed have a secret technique, but he couldn't talk about it. Subai noted that in their dragon kingdom, there was an ancient saying, "The way cannot be passed on just like that," especially when it came to secrets concerning the king level. Hanjan held out a golden-ranked beast core. Qingshu told Hanjan not to let himself be deceived. Subai took the core and said he believed Hanjan. He added that he had information coming from Lord Niaqing himself. In the path of combat, it is not enough to just level up. In fact, it is necessary to cultivate the heart of the Tao. As long as a young man has a desire for the path and an unyielding will to become stronger, he will be able to grow faster and further than others. Hanjan listened carefully and replied that he still did not understand anything. Subai asked if Hanjan could see the big mountain. When he just looks at it, it seems like a huge and dangerous obstacle. But if you focus on the top, the path at the foot and in the middle doesn't seem so hard anymore. All you have to do is keep going without stopping until you reach the top. Hanjan said that he understood something, but at the same time, it was as if he understood nothing. Subai seemed to have said something, but he did not express anything meaningful. Qingshu noticed that Hanjan had just been deceived into giving up the golden core. Subai claimed that he was sharing the true secrets of the path to the king level. Hanjan said that now he understood everything and thanked Subai. The main thing was to repeat to himself every morning that he would reach the level of a king, no matter what it took. Then no bottleneck would stop him. Hanjan shouted that the true path was the easiest path. But why did he only understand this now? Now he would use every second to become better. Qingshu noticed that Han Zhan had become completely hopeless. Su Bai objected. Han Zhan had indeed realized something, and it was impressive. Su Bai told Xiao Hong to stop playing and help the beasts awaken their second element. The girl asked how to do it because she didn't know how. Su Bai told Xiao Hong to use her spiritual power to change the internal flows in their bodies. She had been able to do this before. She had the ability to awaken the second element in others. Xiao Hong said she would try and activated the increased tension in her body, releasing excess energy. The girl said that now she really felt it. Xiao Ba would be the first. The turtle tensed up from the external impact on its body. Xiao Ba screamed that he was in unbearable pain. Xiao Hong had to stop immediately. In the next moment, the green turtle grew to an incredible size. Su Bai said that this was Xiao Ba's true form. The protagonist stated that the turtle now had a glowing tail. The turtle continued to scream in pain and agitation. Su Bai received information that the mysterious earth turtle had successfully awakened the second element, the source of water. The young man said that now that the water element had been awakened, the protection of this dual system had become simply terrifying. In the end, the turtle was satisfied. Su Bai declared that now it was Xiao Bai's turn. The cat tried to escape such an execution under the cover of darkness. However, Xiao Hong was on the alert. The girl energetically influenced the fleeing white cat. Su Bai told Xiao Bai to hold on if he wanted to wake up. The big white cat also cried out in pain and resentment. As a result of the awakening, a huge white tiger appeared. It was of incredible size. The young man received information that it was now a sharp-toothed golden white tiger that had awakened the second element, shadow. Su Bai said that the white tiger with the blood of shadows was a dangerous dance of stealth and destruction. The next day arrived. Qingshu said that after resting, they should reach the pure water lake. Han Zhan asked if Su Bai knew where they were now. The protagonist asked Xiao Hong where they were. Xiao Hong pointed in the direction and added that they were about 80 kilometers from the central restricted area of Pure Water Lake. Su Bai said that in that case, they would set off immediately. There was no time to waste. Su Bai asked the girl what kind of dragon shadow they had seen the day before. Xiao Hong replied that it was the Azure Dragon, the guardian of the restricted area near Clearwater Lake. She added that the dragon was incredibly powerful, and that any creature that approached the heart of this territory would be destroyed. Xiao Hong said that this dragon was indeed very frightening. Even creatures at the Lord level who tried to enter did not return. Han Zhan asked in surprise, "Is the dragon really so strong that it could eat them all?" Qingshu asked, "If the Azure Dragon is really there, why hasn't the King of the Nine Circles of Hell tamed it yet?" Xiao Hong replied that at one time, the King of the Nine Circles of Hell had gathered the elders of all three great royal clans, but even then, they had been unable to subdue the dragon. Qingshu was surprised. Even the King of the Nine Circles of Hell couldn't handle the dragon? Wasn't it too dangerous to rush forward like this? Su Bai ordered the system to analyze the presence of Azure Dragon blood nearby. The protagonist decided that today he would tame this dragon. If it was really here, then all four divine beasts would be gathered. Based on the scan results, the system reported that Azure Dragon blood had been detected nearby. However, the carrier's current power was insufficient to tame it. The egoist thought, even the system warns that the Azure Dragon is very dangerous. Indeed, they should retreat. The commander of the first squad suggested that his colleagues step aside for a moment. The young man asked the girl if she knew the way through the Misty Mountains. Xiao Hong replied that the roads in the Misty Mountains change with the weather, so she didn't know the right way either. Su Bai said that this could be a problem. Qingshu noted that if the Misty Mountains were west of Clearwater Lake, perhaps they could just go east and find their way out that way. Han Zhan said that the problem was that they didn't even know where east was. The protagonist suggested using the sun for orientation. Qingshu noted that the sun on the battlefield of Myriad Raz was extremely unreliable. Moreover, the fog in the heart of the mountains was so thick that nothing could be seen. Xiao Hong told her mentor that she knew of a small tribe's village nearby. They could ask them for directions. Su Bai was surprised. Why hadn't Xiao Hong mentioned this before? Qingshu noted that their little phoenix had saved the day again. Xiao Hong said that the tribe was called the Spirit Snake Clan. The nearest settlement was within 1,000 kilometers of Clearwater Lake. Su Bai said that was great and ordered the girl to take them there. They headed for the Spirit Snake Clan. Xiao Hong said that the Spirit Snake Clan once had a platinum-level warrior, but he had led the tribe's elite into battle. Now, Only the elderly, sick, and wounded guarded the village. The strongest among them was the elder, who was at the peak of the gold level. The expedition made its way further through the forest. Peeking out from the bushes, Xiaohong pointed to the village of the Spirit Snake clan. Subai was surprised. There was a snake's nest right on their course. Han Zhan said that although the clan was small, judging by the number of snake holes and the aura around them, they had more than 10,000 wild animals. The exact number of creatures guarding the territory was unknown. Han Zhan suggested attacking from different sides to lure them out of their burrows. Once they were separated, they could be destroyed piece by piece. Qingshu said that was too dangerous. It would be better to catch one golden beast and interrogate it. It would have to reveal the location of the passage. Subai said that these two only think about how to fight. We must not forget that Xiaohong is the holy maiden of the royal clan. Han Zhan asked what Subai suggested doing, what his strategic plan was. The protagonist replied that he had a brilliant plan. Information came in that the envoy of the ancient royal clan had arrived. It was necessary to greet him with honors. Young men in black cloaks accompanied Xiaohong. Subai announced that the holy maiden of the ancient demon Phoenix clan had arrived and should be greeted appropriately. The snake said that she could sense the aura of the royal blood of the ancient demon Phoenix clan. It was a great honor for them to receive such noble guests. She was accompanied by 3 high lords from the Hidden Land and the Mist Snake clan. The old snake said that the second elder of the Spirit Snake tribe respectfully greets Lady Demon Phoenix and the 3 lords of the Misty Lands. The 4 great lords have honored them with their visit. They apologize for such a modest reception. Subai asked if the clan had any spiritual materials or medicinal herbs, as it was necessary to gather everything available to restore their strength. Han Zhan quietly asked what Subai was doing, since they just wanted to ask for directions. Qingshu was also surprised at what medicinal spiritual herbs they were talking about. Subai told the two to keep quiet. The second elder said that if the honored guests had come from afar, the spiritual snake tribe would definitely give them a proper welcome. After a while, the guests were offered small spiritual fruits as a sign of respect. Han Zhan said that these were 4th-level spiritual berries filled with powerful spiritual energy. One such berry could completely restore the strength of a gold-level warrior in a matter of minutes. Subai said that it was already late, and that they would most likely stay here for the night. The protagonist pointed to the building where they would be staying and asked for a map of the area.